Johnson. Live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios in downtown Milwaukee. Alongside Homer and Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher. Here's Gabe Neitzel.
A sloppy Monday night loss for the Green Bay Packers as they fall to the New York Giants. And for the first time in his career as a head coach, Matt LaFleur has lost in the month of December. Looked like for a second that maybe, miraculously, the Packers were going to pull off a victory. They fall 24-22 to the New York Giants. I'm Gabe Neitzel along with Steve the Homer True and the Packers Hall of Famer, the Super Bowl champion, Mark Tauscher. And as we do here on Green Bay Game Night, we begin with the opening statement from Mark Tauscher. Tausch, take it away.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by tonight. I was very worried all week that a young football team that has had a ton of success in a monster win last Sunday was going to have a hard time backing it up. Hearing all the positive stuff, playoffs and everything else, how would they react? And they reacted very poorly. Now, how the game played out, you can't turn the ball over to the degree that they did. Jordan Love played a really poor first half. I think when you look at his numbers on the night, they're not terrible, but he didn't play his best. He had an off night. And if you told me that on an off night, when the Green Bay Packers turned it over 3 times, right? I think it was 3. And they didn't have Aaron Jones, all of the things, and Jordan played as poorly as he did in the first half, that if you scored 22 points, I'd say, done, let's go. They're averaging less than that, and they're playing Tommy Blanken DeVito at quarterback. You'd find a way to win, and this would have been a great, great growth win. But you get back in position, and you score to go up with 1:39, and DeVito is your quarterback, you win the game. And when you don't, you're incredibly disappointed. So I'm not shocked at all that this was a sludge match. I'm not shocked this was a one-possession game. This was a game that Green Bay could have taken a lot from if they win 22-21. But in a big boy business, you have to figure out ways to win these games. That's why they're a young football team. I still believe a playoff team. But this loss stings. It stings badly, and it stings for a lot of reasons, but it stings mostly because I was hoping that this young team was going to show growth and find a way to win a game that they didn't play its best. It just tells you that this team still has a ways to go.
800-990-3776 is the number to get into the Boda Box Wine line. Talk and text is up and operational. I know last week we did not have that text line, but you can join us on that text line if that's the way you choose to do so, as the Packers fall to the New York Giants 24-22. This, and maybe it goes back to, and maybe it's just on my mind because I saw Mike McCarthy, Tausch, have the success that he did yesterday. But does this go back to his old stacking successes of a team that has had success in the last 2 weeks against really tough opponents, and you're going in against Tommy DeVito, and you're going, and now you have to deal with expectations as expecting to win. And yeah. I know it's nice to say, yeah, we expect to win every game. I don't know if they expected to beat. They wanted to beat. They prepared to beat. I don't know if they expected to beat the reigning Super Bowl champs last week. And then they did. So now you expect to beat the New York Giants because they've had a rough season. They really have. Mm-hmm. And is part of that dealing with those expectations, kind of going back to the old stacking successes McCarthyism?
Yeah, that's why I was worried, because Mike McCarthy, I'll never forget, his first meeting after he replaced Mike Sherman with the full group, it was in like March when everybody got back to work out. And he said the biggest thing that I'm going to push is handling success, because NFL players, it's a human nature deal, just like every other job. When people are telling you you're great, beware. Because there's stuff lurking around the corner. This business is too competitive and too tough. And that's what I was worried about because, I don't know if they believed that they could beat the Chiefs, but they were up and they played their best game, and everybody is telling them that. I just knew tonight was going to be sloppy. I knew it was not going to be easy, even though the Giants stink. But the Packers are still a young team trying to figure it out. I'm not discouraged by any stretch. I know people are going to call in tonight. They're going to be incredibly frustrated with Joe Barry, with Matt LaFleur, with a lot of players, and I get it. But I loved what I saw from Jordan in the fourth quarter. I think this team, we maybe got out in front of our skis a little bit.
Oh, you think?
Me, other people, but I still think this team's going to make the playoffs. I still believe that. But it's harder to say that when you have a loss like tonight. But this will reset this group, and they will learn these hard lessons of how tough this league is. Teams can stink, but if you put out a product as poor, Troy Aikman didn't want to be there. It was more obvious that was a brutally bad half of football, the first half. The second half was pretty entertaining, and the Packers played a lot better offensively, but I did not foresee the New York Giants putting up 24 points tonight. I thought this needed to be a Joe Barry defense suffocating game, and they didn't do that tonight. The offense struggled, which I think some of us thought was going to be the case. They kind of came together and was able to score what should have been enough points to beat this team. And it wasn't. And it's a team loss for a lot of reasons. This will be one of those games that this team will look at and say, this is a growth game that they need to show that they can improve from because they did everything wrong and still had a great chance to win, which happens in this league. When you're young, you still made a couple too many mistakes, and then at the end, you didn't know how to close up shop, and that's why you walked out. That's why you're flying home, a 6-7 football team right back into the scraps of trying to figure out how to make the playoffs.
Homer, have you lost faith? Do you still think this is a playoff team?
No, I still lost faith, but I didn't see the same game that Tausch did. This game was blown by Joe Barry. Or the defensive players. Here's what they did. They created a star by a guy who had so little highlights, they had to bring back the best they had, which was his high school highlights in that stadium. Listen to this. Everybody on the team messed up, but they had won the game. The quarterback did what he had to do. The Giants, 5 yards, 7 yards, 9 yards, 32 yards. He turned Tommy DeVito into a superstar. It's not just that they lost the game and let him get a field goal. Let me give it to you again. 5, 7, 9, and 32. They did the impossible. They turned Rhode Island into the biggest state in the country. There's no way anybody alive, much less the Giants, thought with the game on the line they could pass the ball 4 times in a row, 5, 7, 9, and 32 yards at any point unless the Packers had 5 players on the field. It's not just that they lost. It's the manner in which they lost with that amount of time. Tommy DeVito has never done that and will never do that again other than when they show his high school highlights. That's the guy they beat. Oh, they didn't even have college. Granted, it was the same stadium. I don't know what even... How do you make Tommy DeVito look that good? Granted, the most of the game, he did what he does best, run. 4 plays, 5, 7, 9, and 32 yards. It's not possible to be that bad. And the discussion of Joe Barry continues because this is like 363. How many passing yards did they give up against the Eagles? What was it, 363?
That was the rushing yards, yes. Last year against the Eagles, they gave up 363 rushing yards, yes.
This is more amazing and worse than that. To turn Tommy DeVito with the game on the line into 4 for 4, 5, 7, 9, and 32 yards. This now goes down. It's possibly the worst finish ever by Joe Barry. And that's hard to say because there have been some terrible ones.
That's pretty strong. Let's go out to the Boda Box One line, 800-990-3776, where we go to Jason in Tosa. Jason, you're up first on Green Bay Game Night.
Yeah, I was actually somewhat encouraged at the end how Jordan came along, and the offense, as I think Tausch mentioned, is really, really young. And there was no Christian Watson tonight, no Aaron Jones, and then Dontavian Wicks went out. But I think I've heard Tausch say repeatedly that Joe Barry's defense has done enough this season, and we should kind of praise that defense. When I've watched them give up 200 yards rushing to Desmond Ridder and the Falcons, 200 yards rushing plus to Kenny Pickett and the Steelers. And tonight, they were over 200 yards against Tommy DeVito and the Giants before they allowed Tommy DeVito to carve him up throwing the ball. He's got 25 first-round picks on that defense. He's awful. We will never be a competitor for a Super Bowl with Joe Barry running our defense. And by the way, is Bisaccia worse on special teams?
I mean, I don't know if Rich Bisaccia is the one who muffed the punt, fell on the ball, and then decided to get up and run with it.
Who had Nixon out there returning it instead of Reed? Who made that call?
Okay, whoa, hold on, Jason. You're going to tell me that you're going to bitch and moan about an all-pro kick returner back to receive a punt?
He was
Last year he was.
Kick returner, not a punt returner, kick returner. He's not as good in the punt game. The bottom line is this team will never win with Joe Barry as the defensive coordinator. They're soft. Tommy DeVito, they won 10-7 a couple weeks ago against the Patriots. They gave up 200-plus yards rushing again tonight.
Hey, Joe, I got a question for you. Hey, listen. I get what you're saying.
Ever completed 4 passes in 4 straight?
Can I ask this? Can I ask something, though? You guys are bringing up good points. They have still. Tonight was a bad finish. No question about it. But everybody's crushing Joe Barry. Why are we not crushing some of the players? This offensive line is brutal. They give up sack after sack after sack, and we're sitting here, end of a game, you need a playmaker. I don't put this all on Joe Barry tonight, guys. You can look at Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith.
He was awful.
You can go all through this. There are the points that the Giants got, the last drive stunk. I totally agree with you guys. The points that they got tonight, it was not as if they moved the football down the field repeatedly. It was one drive. There was a lot of freebies. I'm not defending Joe Barry, but Joe Barry's defense has been a top 10 scoring defense all season. Tonight was not a good night. Tonight was a bad night.
If it's Gary and if it's Preston Smith, how about Darnell Savage, who was brutal again tonight? Does that mean the guy who selected all these high first-round pick defenders, the guy you've been saying is beyond reproach? Those are Goody's boys out there who didn't get the job done. It's either Joe Barry or it's Goody or it's
reproach. I never said beyond reproach.
I mean, Darnell Savage is a bad first-round pick. Come on, we brought him back a 5th year. If he hadn't been a first-round pick, they're paying him $9 million to go out because he got hit by Tommy DeVito. He doesn't hit anybody. He's what is it? I mean, our run defense is so passive. Year after year with this guy, as Homer said, he doesn't care. 363 to the Eagles.
But I just want to let you know, I'm still with Tausch. They're still going to be in the top 10 in points given up. Like, the defense he's done is way better than you give it credit for. I'm just saying, at the end of the game, and Tausch is right, you can blame the players as much. The end of the game, it's impossible to get Tommy Tommy DeVito to play that well. I check and see if in his career he's ever completed 4 passes in a row in 4 straight plays.
He only missed 4 passes tonight. You want to get after Joe Barry? He was 17 of 21 tonight, and he threw his first 2 balls were in the dirt. He missed 2 passes after the first drive. No pressure. No, the scheme. You put all the stuff you want on it.
To go further that point, Tausch, the Packers had 2 QB hits tonight.
It was a brutal night for the D-line. Period. We can all crush Joe Barry. It's just Joe Barry is everybody's whooping boy. Everybody wants to do it. That's fine. But that you also have to look at, was it schematic tonight? That O-line is not very good.
Right.
Look at the stats.
Before that last one, they ran the ball. It was 1 out of 2 for 6 yards, and they ran the ball 3. I mean, you watch him. He's horrible.
I mean, it's a combination. Horrible? It's a combination of both.
But
because
I agree with you on the no pass rush. Stands out as much. I don't know what schemes they played versus what they could have played.
He got bailed out because Saquon Barkley fumbled the football, but he got manipulated to go into a nickel when clearly the Giants were trying to manipulate him into a nickel so they could have a lighter box to run against when they were trying to run out clock and give it to Saquon Barkley when he ripped off the big run that he had. despite having a pretty decent game against the run prior to that. But this is by the way, the most yards the Giants have had since week 2, 367 yards. It's just I don't care who we're blaming. I don't care if we're blaming the players. I don't care if we're blaming Joe Barry. The defense let him down tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the easy thing to say. And at the end of the game, I agree. How on earth the offense, which was all world last week, scored every possession but one? And we're going to sit here. You can't just, football's a complimentary game. You fumble and muff a punt and give them 7 points. You miss a field goal. You have dumb penalties that give them yardage. So I always get so irritated because everybody always wants to crush the D coordinator. Everybody. You can crush him for that last drive, but you can also crush the DNs. You can crush the pass rush. You can crush. This was not, Joe Barry stinks, they lost. Jordan Love stunk in the first half. Matt LaFleur's game plan, not great. The special team stunk. This was a team effort. This wasn't the Joe Barry blame show. Joe Barry's defense this year has been good enough to win, and has been good enough to win on most games. Tonight was one of his worst performances because they let DeVito run the football. You take away DeVito's rush yards, and you look at these stats, they have probably, 130 yards rushing on 30-some carries. You're going to live with that in this league. And then what did he throw for 120 passing?
157.
What are we doing?
150-some.
Yeah, okay, 150.
And he had
you
50
gave
in
him
the
points
last-
with
he had
poor
50 in
special
the
teams
last
and
drive.
turning the football over. Let's not forget that, too. That's all I'm saying.
I agree,
Rip
but
Joe Barry
Tom,
all you want.
The great
But
teams find a way to win games that they're going to lose. They had the game lost.
We're not
They
a
caught
great
break.
team.
Well,
We're 6-6. We're not a great team.
Okay, so even average teams, you have to find a way to win. They did all the things wrong.
But you're not.
And they caught
You're
break.
a team. Homer, all off season, we've said the same things. And for October, I said malarkey because we were not very good. We were getting worse. We stunk tonight. And we gritted and fought and had a lead to win a game that we played brutally bad football in.
Yes.
That is, you can look at that one of two ways. We're not a great team right now. We played great last week. Young teams play inconsistent football. Young teams struggle with success. And young teams that are trying to win lose games they should win. The great teams win games they stink in. We're not there yet. And I think we need to come to grips with that. We're still going to be in the playoffs, and I still think we can give a run to everybody but San Francisco and Dallas. I put Dallas in there this year.
You can't. Those are. Come on, bud. Come on, bud.
I just said outside of those two teams, I will say we play Philadelphia. Watch Philadelphia struggle with the New York Giants coming up. Watch. Just watch.
Okay.
Look at what Detroit. There are two teams that I would say we can't beat as we sit here today. And those are the two teams. Everybody else, there is a pack of mediocrity, and Green Bay's in it. So when Homer says, good teams win those games, yeah, we're not there. We said all offseason,
okay.
growth.
Look at this.
Let's see growth.
Explain
There's a
to me
process.
How Tony DeVito goes 4
Come on,
for
bud.
53
What does that even
yards.
mean? Come on,
they
bud.
Never had. I didn't know what that meant. Bud Selig or
It sounded good.
on that last drive, they never had a third down. They got 53 yards on 4 plays. Explain that, Tosh, because that's the game. I mean, it's one.
So
it's
I give
it's
DeVito
impossible
credit.
to explain. What?
No, it's not. You
Yes,
played.
it is.
Barry played soft and was going to give underneath stuff up to catch the ball underneath. First play, they got 4 yards. You tackle them in bounds. Great. Then you give up 8 and you get out of bounds. And then, was it Joe Barry's fault Keyshawn Nixon got burnt? Is that Joe Barry's fault?
I don't know.
Then
I'm asking
DeVito
you.
makes the best throw of the night? Like, you guys know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
What do you want him to do? He got aggressive when they got to the 50. Should he have been aggressive right away? Yeah, then if he gives up a big play, everybody's crushing him for that. Keyshawn Nixon's your best corner right now. He's on a wideout. The wideout beat him. Is that Joe Barry's fault? I don't know. You guys tell me.
I asked you the question. How is it
I just asked you a question.
Okay.
I answered. Now you answer.
Yes. And
all right, it's Joe Barry's fault. Okay.
Yes, I think it's Joe Barry's
It's Joe Barry's fault.
He is the amazing.
Everything's Joe Barry's fault.
No, everything isn't the Joe Barry's fault. They haven't.
You just said it was.
A playoff team. They're still a playoff team because Joe Barry has made the defense better. But
thank you.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's the season. But this, I'll never understand it. I mean, what happened?
What don't you understand?
That Tony DeVito, who stinks, completes 4 passes in a row for 53 yards.
I just told you what happened. It shouldn't be that hard to figure out. Green Bay played soft. They let things underneath because with time, the situation, they weren't going to give anything big. He threw 2 checkdowns, and then when he got aggressive, Keyshawn Nixon got beat on an out route, and old boy turned it up, picked up 32 yards. That's what happened. That's what happened.
Yeah, with Tommy DeVito.
Tommy DeVito made a great throw on that play.
Yeah, I
and
think
Keyshawn Nixon got beat.
I think you
that
need to accept
in football.
Homer. I think you need to accept. I mean, I'm not saying Tommy DeVito's good, but he's not ripping bad.
He's not ripping exactly, Gabe.
Yeah,
he's not
as a
ripping.
Thrower. Yes, as a thrower, he's ripping bad.
No.
He does everything right.
Ripping stinks.
Yeah, ripping like Tommy DeVito's been in the NFL and won 3 games, and has put up decent numbers doing so. Hasn't turned the ball over. No, not even running the football, Homer. His last 3 starts, he had 13 yards rushing leading into this game. Like his last 3 games, 137.7 pass rating, 103.9, 113.9.
Boys, all that stuff's great. Tonight's game needed to be a D-line dominant game. The New York Giants have given up 69 sacks in 12 games. Oof. Guess how many they gave up in the 13th game against the Green Bay Packers?
Well, it's a big old goose egg, Tausch.
You want to know? You want to bitch at Joe Barry and be all pissed off and all this stuff? Great. Go ahead, do it. There's your stat. Turning the football over, sloppy play, special teams stunk, and you didn't get any pressure on Tommy DeVito. Because let me tell you something. Any quarterback that makes an NFL roster, if you don't pressure him and put something in their face, they're going to be able to make some throws. It's the quarterbacks that haven't had the experience that you get a little pressure and they'll just throw it up. His accuracy in it wasn't great. And he had 150 yards passing in an NFL game.
He had 100. He had 100 in the game until the final 133. Right? 100.
He made the throw. He made one great throw. One. That's what it takes. You don't put yourself in a position to let that be the difference.
Well, when
and you do that by stinking on offense and by stinking on special teams.
By the way,
second and 1. They were 2nd and 1 on their 46-yard line. When he made that throw, they very likely would have gotten a field goal even if he hadn't made that throw.
I mean, by the way, Tausch, to your point of the Packers' defensive line not getting after the quarterback, I mean, part of the reason I think that Jordan Love struggled in the first half is because the Giants got after him. He was sacked twice, but there were 8 quarterback hits. It seemed that pressure was affecting Love early in the game, kind of drifting back a little bit, maybe bailing from some pockets that were clean. I think that had a big effect on Jordan Love early in the game as well. The Giants won the line of scrimmage.
Pressure kills. That's what happens. And for any quarterback, Tom Brady will dice you up all night. How did he do against the New York Giants in that Super Bowl when he had pressure? I think he scored 7 points or 14 points they lost. That's how you win. Our defensive front didn't get the job done against an O-line that has been maligned and basically thrown away all season. They beat us up front on the defensive side of the football. That's how Tommy DeVito can make a throw, and that's how he, with his feet tonight, getting out of the pocket, was able to win this football game on top of all of the other mistakes that this Green Bay Packers team made.
24/7 Sports Betting is here in the great city of Milwaukee thanks to Potawatomi Casino Hotel and the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Enjoy the convenience of self-service kiosks, odds boards, wall-to-wall TVs, free parking, full-service bar, and numerous food options. Bet big, bet bold at the Potawatomi Sportsbook at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel. We will get to your calls on that Boda Box wine line, 800-990-3776. That's coming up next on Green Bay Game Night.
More Green Bay Game Night coming up on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Hi, this is Wayne Larrabee, the voice of Green Bay football. You know, fans count on me to make the right call every time, and I can continue to do that thanks to Summit Eye Care of Wisconsin. When my vision began to drift, my eye doctor said Summit Eye Care was the best place to go. Using the latest adjustable implants, the doctors at Summit were able to fine-tune my vision. In fact, my vision is now the best it's ever been. Summit Eye Care was the right call to help me see all the action on game days.
To schedule an appointment at one of their locations, visit summitiwi.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here. A couple years ago, my knee was acting up. As an athlete, I've played through pain before, but it was getting to the point where I couldn't compete in the sports I loved. I decided to check out Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's the best decision I've made. I felt no pressure to have surgery. That was important to me. We had choices. I ultimately did choose to have a procedure. I was in and out in just hours and back in action shortly after. I recommend meeting their doctors. Visit orthowisconsin.com today.
Get to and from every home game in Green Bay this football season safely. Milwaukee Brought House, Jack's American Pub, and Wanakee Golf Course all offer transportation on game days. They've got bus services with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. Book your round-trip ride from any of these locations and get complimentary access to an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate at the bar on Holmgren Way. Make your reservations now. There's still room for the December 17th game. Visit MilwaukeeBroughthouse.com to book your trip today and use code ESPN23 for 10% off.
Get your game on at the Island Resort and Casino with first-round picks of your favorite slots and table games. Bring friends and watch your favorite team compete on big screens. Grab Game Day Eats in T. McSee's Sports Bar. Or celebrate your team's victory in Horizon's Steakhouse. To book your game time at the Island Resort and Casino, call 800-682-6040 today.
Check out our brand new Hyundai dealership, one of the largest in the Midwest.
Step inside of our state-of-the-art showroom where you can view our new Hyundai models and some of our finest certified pre-owned.
We've also expanded our service center, staffed by our factory-certified technicians.
And right next door, we've started construction on our all-new Genesis of Waukesha dealership.
But we're not just building walls, we're building careers.
So if you're looking for a career with great benefits and opportunity for growth, Boucher is the place for you.
At Boucher, we ride with you every mile.
At We Energies, we're committed to building a bright, sustainable energy future. We're investing in clean energy projects like solar, wind, and battery storage. As a leader in the decarbonization effort, our goal is to achieve net zero carbon emissions from our generation fleet by 2050. It's part of our plan to provide the affordable, reliable, and clean energy you depend on. Learn more at WeEnergies.com. We Energies. People you can trust, energy you can depend on. This message was paid for by the stockholders of WEC Energy Group.
Set your game plan for a new baseball season with a 2024 Brewers 4-pack. Pick from 4 action-packed plan choices, each loaded with can't-miss Brewers games to fit your schedule and the best ticket prices. All available before single-game tickets are sold. Plus, when you buy a pair of 4-packs, you'll get a limited edition Brewers knit hat. Find the right plan for you today at brewers.com/4packs.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
You're listening to Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Story continues for the Giants defensively. Here's Reed. He's got the first down. He's got the touchdown. Packers on top.
That was the Packers' first touchdown of the game. That lead was erased in the second half. They fall to the Giants, 24-22. Gabe Neitzel, Steve the Homer True, and Mark Tauscher with you here on Green Bay Game Night. Let's hit those phone lines. Bodabox Wine Line, you can reach us at 800-990-3776. Also hit us up on the talk and text line. Let's go out to Ricardo in Canada. Ricardo, you're up next on Green Bay Game Night.
Hey, guys. How you guys doing? Pretty bad night, eh?
Terrible.
I can assume.
Yeah.
Terrible. Listen, my opinion, it's a young team, yes, and they're going to go up and downs and even flows. But this game is solely on Matt LaFleur. Like, you can see the difference between the coaching job that Dable did with the ragtag group and what Matt LaFleur did with Jordan Love and his bunch. And what I mean by that is this. The play calling in the second half was incredibly predictable. And especially when the team was finally getting momentum, he'd go back to these gimmicky gadget plays that worked in the first half. But you're only going to surprise the team so many times before they catch on to it. Jaden Reed, that orbit motion, he tried it again. He tried it 2 or 3 times in the fourth quarter, and they got stuck. They kept losing yards on it. And then again, on the 2-point conversion, that's the play you call? It's like, listen, it comes to a point where if you're going to ride with Jordan Love as your quarterback, you're going to ride with Jordan Love as your quarterback. Give him the ball, spread it out if you want to spread it out, but put the ball in his hands. Don't do these easy plays. The Giants were clearly zeroing in on Jaden Reed the whole game. And then this whole thing about everyone's getting mad at Joe Barry, do not get mad at Joe Barry. Joe Barry is Joe Barry. He is who he is. You can't get mad at the guy. Like, what are you going to get mad for? Get mad at the guy who hired him and who keeps him around.
Do you realize?
My God, I'm just so
I just want
frustrated,
to let you
boys.
know. Do you realize that if the Packers had had a defense, that Giants fans would have called, and you can't get mad at Tony DeVito. He's just Tony DeVito. That instead didn't play out that way.
Appreciate the call. 800-990-3776. Are you just going to call him by a different first name for the rest of the show?
Yes.
Okay.
Isn't it Tommy?
It's Tommy, yes. You keep calling him Tony.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I know it's Tommy.
I didn't know if you were doing a bit or if you were like...
It was like Bud. I don't know. I can't comprehend what I saw. I just can't. I could comprehend that, him possibly going down the field stuff, but 4 passes, 4 completions in a row, that's like, an elite quarterback in the NFL. That's what you would think they would do.
Well, to that point, Homer, I thought if the Giants were going to get into field goal range, it would have included a big run by him. Not necessarily a big pass, what it ended up being. I would assume that it would have been a big run by him.
That was what I was worried about, yes.
Because
he hit 100 yards. I wanted to ask you both, too. The defensive line didn't get, but any time that they had any pressure, didn't he just run right away? Or how fair is it to say they eliminated some sacks because he just ran right away? Or that's not...
I don't know. I don't know if he ran right away, but he did a good job of evading the rush.
Okay.
But,
they still should have some. He did that with other teams.
Well, because part of it the other part with Tommy DeVito is how many wide receivers do you think Packers fans could have named for the Giants heading into this game? But it's not like they have like a bunch of weapons on the outside. It's not like, it's not like it's going to be next week when you're facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when they've got Mike Evans, who's over 1,000 yards yet again. It's not like when you were playing the Chargers and they've got Keenan Allen. Maybe you knew who Wan'Dale Robinson was. I mean, Darius Slayton's been there forever, but he's, pretty much a non-factor. They don't have a lot of weapons on the outside, which is a big reason why this offense struggles as well. But they got the big play when they needed it down the stretch. Let's go to Paul in Indiana. Paul, you're up next on the Boda Box Wine Line, 800-990-3776.
Yeah, football is a pretty simple game. It comes down to the line of scrimmage, and Green Bay got beat on the line of scrimmage today. I'm interested to hear Tausch and Bulaga talk about Tom. He's been great all year. I think he had probably his worst performance this year. And there was not one player on the defensive line that stepped up and made a play. And 1 or 2 plays in this game would have made the difference. Also, why is it that Green Bay, when they come up against these running quarterbacks going all the way back to Kaepernick, they just look like they can't do anything against these guys. It just really befuddles me that the defense really struggles against these kind of guys. But the defensive line and the offensive line was a difference in the game. I don't put it on the coaches. Players got to make plays. So
appreciate the call, Paul. Your thought there, Tausch, on Zach Tom.
Yeah, I think. Well, Zach Tom. I think Thibodeau had a couple of some good rushes. Obviously, he had the one sack. It wasn't like an egregious miss by Zach. But, yeah, I think he probably – I definitely don't think it was his worst game of the year. They gave Jordan time. I don't know how many sacks the Giants ended up getting. I think it was two or three. 2 sacks.
But they had 8 QB hits, so that kind of proved, they were getting after him.
They were. I think if you want to be critical of Joe Barry, which it seems like a lot of people do, including Homer, you could say at some point, I'm not going to let DeVito run the football. Put a spy out there and not allow him. He's not Colin Kaepernick or Michael Vick. He's good. He is able to get out and make some plays with his feet. But that's where not having Quay Walker, I think, hurts. Because, his sideline-to-sideline speed that will, close some of those things off. That's where I think the difference in the game was, obviously outside of all of the turnovers and the sloppy play. But the Green Bay Packers didn't deserve to win tonight. They didn't play well enough. They were way too sloppy, too many sloppy penalties, too many turnovers. But this would have been one you could have been excited about finding a way to win because that's another step in the growth process. And unfortunately, when you have all 3 phases making as many mistakes as this group did tonight, you find yourself on the short end of a game against a team that has no business beating you.
The biggest problem with the loss tonight is, and I'm with you, Tausch, I still think that this team gets it done, but the light is shining very brightly on that game next week against the Buccaneers. That game suddenly means a little bit more because you have the same record as them. And, oh, by the way, you've got the same record as, 4 other teams behind you. You trail the Vikings by a game. And, that game just becomes that much bigger. If you had a little bit of a cushion, if you win this game, you're sitting there at 7-6, you have a little bit of a cushion to play with because you have the tiebreaker over teams like the Rams and a tiebreaker over the Saints. And if you beat the Buccaneers, a tiebreaker over them. But that's going to be a big game next week now with Tampa Bay coming to town.
They're all going to be big. And you can't lose games that you're playing against backup third-string quarterbacks. You found a way to do it tonight. Now, I think the nice thing is you're going to get a reset. It's going to be a short week. You got to fly back tonight. It's going to be a really good challenge for a young football team to see how they bounce back. But this is basically now every week's going to be a playoff game. You got Tampa, you're going to have Minnesota, you're going to have Chicago. You have, even the Bears are chasing now. They're up on that little screen. They're put in the hunt. So every game is going to be that way. This team is going to have to find itself back on track from where they were. This was a setback, but I just am not even close to being in the same place mentally as I was in October. I still feel good about this team. The fact that they played as bad as they did and had the lead with 1:39 left. Now, they gave it away, but there were some really good signs about where this team is heading. And even though you didn't come out of here with a win, I'm just not as discouraged as I think a lot of other Packer fans are tonight.
I was hoping that we were past at least this point with a team like this. And because really, I guess other than Carolina, but with the rest of the games left in the schedule, they could beat any one of those teams and they could lose to any one of those teams. I was hoping they would be past that point with teams like the Giants.
Carolina.
That's what I'm saying, other than Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Other than Carolina, because they're the only team in the NFL, I believe, that's been eliminated from playoff consideration at this point. Well, I guess the New England Patriots have as well. But other than that, but I think of the other 3 games of Tampa Bay, of Minnesota, Chicago, they could lose. They could win all 3 of those games. They could also lose to any one of those teams.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, that's how it is.
And that was a stark reminder tonight. Let's go to Adam. I'm going to guess this is Oregon, the city just south of Madison, not the state of Oregon. So we'll take the risk and say this is Adam in Oregon. You're up next on Green Bay Game Night.
You got it, Gabe.
Attaboy.
Just want to say, first time, long time, so I appreciate what you guys do on here. A couple of points. First one is, this game proves to me that God is truly a Packers fan. Homer, this could probably be a topic for you on God Talk. My faith, Homer Pitt.
Sure.
Because how does Saquon Barkley have that ball going down the field, about to secure the game, and then out of nowhere falls, fumbles on himself, and gives the ball right back to the Packers. I thought that was just miraculous and complete divine intervention for those guys. And then the second point I had was when you call a two-point conversion play like that, that is a play that you're calling to lose the game, because to that point, they got down there while running it, and then they punch it in with a pass. You got to go in again with a pass. That run was teed up for the Giants, and they had pressure coming all the way. And then lastly, even when they got the lead, I really had no confidence that they were going to be able to hold that. The defense was just a sieve all night, and they could have had Danny DeVito out there and still gotten that down there and gotten that field goal.
Maybe you felt that. There's no way you thought Tommy DeVito could complete 4 straight passes for 52 yards. He only had 100 yards passing the whole game, right? There's no way you believe that was how they were going to do it, right?
I didn't know. I knew they weren't going to run anymore, so it had to be passing, and I saw how the defense was playing all night.
Okay.
Certainly appreciate the call, Adam. 800-990-3776, the number to join us on that Boat Up Box Wine line. More of your phone calls as the Packers fall to the Giants, 24-22 here on Green Bay Game Night.
We're back with Green Bay Game Night after this on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Adulting in the fall means responsible spiking. For pumpkin spice or whatever your preferred fall drink concoction is, spike it with rum chata. It's a solution for any occasion. Rum chata is the world's finest liqueur featuring premium Caribbean rum combined with vanilla, cinnamon, and the highest quality dairy cream sourced from Wisconsin. Enjoy a smooth shot or a tantalizing spiked beverage with Rum Chata Original. And, backed by popular demand for a limited time, Rum Chata Peppermint Bark. Rum Chata, the superior way to spike and sip responsibly this fall.
Hear that? It's the sound of a winning December at Potawatomi. Play with your club card December 7th, 14th, and 21st. The more you play, the bigger your share of $400,000 in reindeer rewards. And like a classic Midwest winter, the wins can really pile up. Dash to Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee for your reindeer rewards. $400,000 worth. Learn more at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
It takes a team to meet just about any goal, and that's as true on the football field as it is in the office. So it's good to know that you have the Gordon Flesch Company on your side. For more than 60 years, GFC has provided cutting-edge office technology for companies of all sizes, and as the nation's largest Canon dealer, GFC delivers the latest office technology, service, and is supported by the most experienced professionals in the industry. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more.
For kids at the Salvation Army, a meal isn't just a meal. It's fuel for imagination, determination, and dreams. It's energy to be role models, change makers, and to just be kids. With your gift to the Salvation Army, a full meal is provided to a child, which leads to a full heart, a full night's sleep, and a future full of possibilities. Donate to the Salvation Army today, and you'll show local kids love beyond hunger at samilwaukee.org. That's samilwaukee.org.
Ever wonder how the best athletes find the power to jump higher, cut quicker, skate smoother, drive farther, and stick the landing? At Prevea Orthopedics in Green Bay, we know power starts with the hips. That's why Dr. Michael Ryan and our team of experts provide comprehensive and advanced expertise in hip care, unlike anywhere else. Come to Prevea Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, where we can preserve your hips so you can pursue your goals. Prevea Orthopedics, specializing in you.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
Hey, it's Gary Olson here for Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape? Or maybe you want to impress a client? No matter the season, rain, snow, or shine, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is open for you. A top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play legendary courses. Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center simulators, entertainment, and best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer all year round. Just $35 an hour gets you a round and puts that summer feel back in your life. Book your bay at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Shop Fleet Farm for hot Fleet Fest deals this Friday through Sunday, in-store only. Like an extra 15% off all kitchen appliances and cookware. And hunters save an extra 10% on all tree stands, trail cams, blinds, and hunting apparel. Plus, you can still save $10 instantly on any purchase of $75 or more with our seasonal savings coupon. Shop in-store for these Fleet Fest deals and more this weekend only at Fleet Farm. Home of everything you need for a very merry shopping season.
This is Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
They go back a yard on 3rd and 1 as Nixon, who delivered that hit, puts the ball on the ground, and the Giants end up with a football. Darnay Holmes knocked it out after Keyshawn Nixon bobbled it a couple of times, and it's Giants ball.
Big turnover by the Packers, as the one thing they were not doing during the 3-game winning streak, turning the football over. But that is something that they did tonight. Jordan Love had the interception, also had a fumble. Keyshawn Nixon had that muff punt. 3 turnovers in all for the Packers as they fall to the Giants 24-22. Gabe Neitzel, Homer, and the Packers Hall of Famer Tausch with you here on Green Bay Game Night. Let's go back out to the phones and that Botobox wine line, 800-990-3776. Patrick in Illinois, you're up next on Green Bay Game Night.
Thanks for taking my call, guys. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
All right. So I'm not putting this all on Joe Barry. I'm going to give him a little bit of the blame just because, when you get a quarterback and he's running the ball like that, don't you have to say at halftime, they're up in the box and I'm watching it on TV. They can't see that the rush lanes are going outside of him. And he's just running up the middle of the field for like 20 yards every time. You would think at halftime he would say something like, hey, let's, have some kind of be able to, keep in your rush lanes and not let the guy run up the middle of the field. And so that's the only thing that I have with Joe Barry.
Never has, never will. You just got to accept that.
It was crazy. I'm just like, this guy's just running up the field.
He doesn't. It's so low on the totem pole. It is every game. This isn't very high.
That was what was really mostly frustrating with me with Joe Barry. The rest, it was the special teams. We have a penalty. We hit the punt returner. We give up points. We have a fumble by Keyshawn Nixon. We give up points. We missed a field goal that cost us basically the game. That's special teams. And Keyshawn Nixon, he just lets the guy run right past him. Like he didn't even try to touch the guy. He was jogging and the guy's running. He's wide open. And then my last thing I'm going to say is Matt LaFleur, I don't even know what his play calling was today. All the flea flicker. He hasn't run a flea flicker since September when the offense was horrible. And I'm like, why did he pull that back out? I'm confused at what he was doing. And Jordan was playing great in the fourth quarter. Why run that play for the 2-point conversion and not just put the ball in Jordan's hands? He was throwing the ball great at the end of the game. So I'm going to leave it at that and let you guys talk. Thanks for letting me talk.
Yeah. Appreciate it, Patrick.
You got it. I could not agree more, Patrick, with the flea flickers and the reverses. It's one thing when you're looking to spark. Your offense was not good in the first half. Jordan Love had a tough half. So I don't mind you take a shot. I've said this numerous times, and I said this today on Wilde and Tausch. Barry Alvarez used to say, whenever a team is trying to run trick 'em, blank 'em plays, you have them. They can't execute their offense, so they have to try to trick you. Trick plays are fine if you do them one a game. When you're running 5 or 6, that means you don't have any other answers. And what I loved about the last couple of weeks is Green Bay just said, we're going to come out, we're going to beat these guys. We're going to play. Jordan went out and executed. I did not like all of the trick plays. I don't mind. The jet sweeps were great. I don't know if you go back to it after you've run it 5 or 6 times. Teams eventually are going to try and do some things to slow that down. And on a 2-point play with Jordan humming like he was at the end of that game, put the ball in your quarterback's hands and trust him that he's going to make a good decision.
So walk me through.
You didn't do that.
Walk me through mechanics, Tausch, of throughout the course of the week. How many 2-point plays do you have?
You have 2. You typically will have 2 drawn up, and you'll have one that you have really dialed that you'll play. And then there's one more that you kind of have in reserve. And then there's just a set amount of plays that you like that are normal plays. Some teams might go more, some might go less, but we would always have 2 2-point plays that we practiced and dialed in that we felt good about and that everybody knew when it went to 2-point play, it was going to be one of those 2 options.
Would it have been affected by the people that were missing that limited what they
Sure.
were going to do?
Yeah, and I think obviously Wicks being out, that didn't help, but you just saw Heath make a whale of a play.
Yeah.
On that touchdown catch. I always was mad when they took the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands at the end. I want my best players to get touches at the end. That's why I want. It's about players. That's why my little diatribe about Joe Barry. It's always about players making these plays in the big moments. Yeah, scheme is great, but NFL games are most NFL games are going to come down to 2 or 3 plays here, and especially at the end of games, closing up games with a big play, strip sack, pressure on a quarterback that leads to an early throw, and then you intercept it. That's what I was hoping for with a team that has given up 69 sacks. Get one.
Nice.
Close up shop, and we couldn't get that done.
To that point, I mean, if you really clearly that Matt LaFleur feels like Jaden Reed is one of those best players, not the guy the way Jordan Love has been, especially the last 3 games heading into tonight. Like there's got to be a way you can draw something up where Reed's the number 1 option on some sort of pass play, if that's how strongly you feel about getting the ball into Jordan Reed's hands.
Yeah,
and on that
and
play,
they
it's
did.
like everybody's over there, right? There was just mass humanity, right, on both sides on that play, right?
Yeah.
So it's not as if he's 1-on-1. It's 5-on-5 in terms of how it's going to be stopped there versus putting him, to me, don't you always want to put him in space?
Yeah, I would think you would want to try to get him in space. That's where he can make something happen. That's where he can be special.
And that play's not space, right?
No, I think they were hoping it would create space, and obviously it very much did not. 800-990-3776. More of your calls coming up next. Plus, we have to flush it or flesh it with our friends at Gordon Flesh. That is coming up next on Green Bay Game Night.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Night will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Get your game on at the Island Resort and Casino with first-round picks of your favorite slots and table games. Bring friends and watch your favorite team compete on big screens. Grab Game Day Eats in T. McSee's Sports Bar. Or celebrate your team's victory in Horizon's Steakhouse. To book your game time at the Island Resort and Casino, call 800-682-6040 today.
The Boucher Group has exciting news to share with you. We've expanded to better serve our community.
Introducing Nissan Lake Country, the newest addition to our family.
Step into our showroom and discover our exceptional selection of brand new Nissans.
We're also stocked with the best pre-owned options in the market.
And as we expand, we're not just growing our inventory, we're also growing our team.
So join a team that values your skills and celebrates your success.
Visit us online or in-store today and view our current job listings at bouchercareers.com.
Football fans, tailgating season is here, and if you want to win at tailgating, you need to Boatify your beverage choice. Box wine is the ultimate addition to your tailgate party. This premium wine comes in a box, so it fits perfectly in your cooler or trunk, and there's no heavy glass or corkscrew to deal with. One 3-liter Box is equivalent to 4 regular bottles of wine, so it's great for sharing. Bring the wine that wins with Wine Critics Box. This is how we Boda. Please drink responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Box Vineyards, Manteca, California.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community and also the Army National Guard.
Soldiers train to keep the power flowing, engines running, and in every other trade needed to accomplish the mission. These soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
At every meeting, at every new beginning, at every celebration, we make better happen. At Cousin Subs, better is more than just a word. It's a promise we serve at every party. Our customizable party boxes, box lunches, party chips, and dozen cookie boxes offer the options you need to please any crowd. Whatever the occasion, we will never settle for being just good enough. Order on our mobile app or online at cousinsubs.com. Cousin Subs, we believe in better.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, it's Jason Wildig for Associated Bank. Looking for a bank with home field advantage? You got it. At Associated Bank, we're more than just a bank. We're your neighbors. That's why scoring a Packers checking account is the right play for your pay. And here's the kicker. Your Packers debit card gets you 10% off at the Packers Pro Shop. Join the team today. Open your Packers checking account at AssociatedBank.com/Packers. Associated Bank, the bank of the Packers since 1919. Your money works here. Member FDIC.
Truth, reason, and tolerance shaped our U.S. Constitution, but those building blocks of democracy are under attack. Big tech social media splits us apart, hurts our children, and causes violence and terror in our communities. Be a part of the change. Go to counterhate.com to learn more.
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video. Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. Welcome back to Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
End zone. Catch made. Heath again. And the official that would make the call gets knocked over. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Heck of a play. Put the Packers ahead momentarily before the Giants drove down and kicked the game-winning field goal to beat the Packers 24-22. Packers now 6-7. On the season. Do have to flush it or flush it, but first let's get back to the phone lines, 800-990-3776. Mo in Illinois. Mo, you're up next on Green Bay Game Night with Homer, Gabe, and Tausch.
The most frustrating thing about this team is it's finding ways to lose to bad teams. And despite the past few weeks beating very good teams like the Lions and Chiefs, you know, they're losing to teams like the Falcons, Steelers, Raiders, Broncos, and now Giants, all of whom in which they don't even have that good of a quarterback. That's the most frustrating thing to me. I also thought Matt LaFleur took a step back today. His play calling, like many callers have said, was very predictable. You know, Jaden Reed's a huge asset. He's a huge threat. But he was severely overused today, especially with these jet sweeps. I mean, how predictable could you get on that? Especially on that two-point conversion play. You know, I was telling my dad, I'm like, you know, if we don't make this two-point conversion, we're going to lose this game. I had no faith that the defense was going to be able to make a stop. This is now the fourth time this season that the defense has given up more than 200 rushing yards. That's inexcusable. It's only been 13 games. And I understand what Tausch is saying, that it's not all on Joe Barry. I would agree. The pass rush was non-existent today. But the one thing I will say about Joe Barry that frustrates me is, like, watching the game today, I don't see any stumps on the D-line. I don't see any creativity. And this is a very bad Giants offensive line. Like, it is inexcusable to not get one sack against this team. So, will the Packers make the playoffs? I want my emotions to settle a little bit because I'm very frustrated right now. My gut is telling me yes, but at the same time, I wouldn't doubt it if they missed it, because if the Packers could lose to teams led by Desmond Ridder, Kenny Pickett, Garoppolo, and now Tommy DeVito, what makes me think that they can't lose to guys like Baker Mayfield or Nick Mullins or even Bryce Young?
Hold on 1 second. You need to apologize to Garoppolo. I'm sorry, it's not.
Absolutely not. He is terrible.
No, he's so much better than the rest of those quarterbacks. It should be against the law to put him in that group. You got to look up Garoppolo. You have no idea what he's done. None.
What he did, yes. What he's done this year got him benched.
Correct. But, I mean...
Hey, Mo,
they
quick
haven't
question
done
for
anything, the rest of them.
Mo, quick question for you. Do you think the Packers are a good football team?
I think they're a good football team. I don't think they're a great football team. I have my doubts. I think, next week is going to tell a lot with this team. Jordan Love said post-game, he said, and I quote, "we'll bounce back next week." So we'll see. If they could beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at home, I think it'll be trending in the right direction. But next week is going to tell a lot about this Packers team.
Can I ask you one more question? What's he supposed to say? We're going to lose next week?
No, I mean,
he could. You would. I mean, it's an option of the options of things to say. It was on the menu. I don't think he got to that page of the menu.
I think the Packers are a good football team.
So, Homer, if we
no, they're not a good football team.
And asked our fans,
they're an average football team.
Are they average? That's what I was just going to say, Gabe. Are they average or are they good? Nobody thinks they're great.
Average. Then they would pick average, but.
Average isn't good.
A little bit better.
You go home
a little better.
You take your grades home to Mama,
average,
Homer, back in the 50s. You bring back a bunch of C's. Is Mama True saying that's good, or is she saying that's average?
She would say that's average. But if I came up with a B-, C+, it's a little better than average. The Packers are a little better than average.
They're 6 and 7.
Correct.
They're below average.
Yeah, that's technically below average. I feel like.
But I would say, well, so do you expect them to finish 8-9? Do you expect them to finish? I mean, how you think they are as a team is going to determine the future. If they're just average, then what do you think they're going to finish 8-9? If they finish 9-8, they're a little above average.
I would say 9-8, and that's an average football team. 8-9, 9-8 is an average football team.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Just want to get
this idea of
weren't they
they're a good football team.
Yeah, they were a bad football team.
A good football team would have found a way to win tonight.
Correct. Yep, 100%.
They did. They found a way to win. We should be talking about Heath.
Yeah.
They also found a way to turn a nobody into a Hall of Fame-like performance in the last minute and 33. It was so easy.
In fairness, Homer,
had to figure out try to use his timeouts, even though he didn't have enough. But anyway,
in fairness, Daniel Jones, who they're paying $40 million, is 1-5.
Mm-hmm.
DeVito is 3-1 as a starting quarterback for the New York Giants. Those are the facts.
You want to tell me? You want to tell me he's good? Go for it.
I don't think he's not brutal. Like, he's not ripping.
Yeah, he's not as bad as you're presenting him. Is what I would say.
His skill is running. His skill is running. His skill is not going 4 for 4 for 52 yards at the tail end of the game.
He went 17 of 21.
Again,
so it's not that crazy that he had 4 straight completions. Like, I don't know what you're hung up on that about.
Okay, he had 17 before that. He had 100 yards total passing. 100 yards.
He had one play that Keyshawn Nixon got beat on. I've tried to tell you this entire postgame.
I know, but no, it wasn't. He was he was at the 46 on 2nd and 1 before that play. They did not need that play in order to get a field goal. But now my point is, he's played 58 and a half minutes, and he has 100 yards passing. That sucks in the NFL. You would agree, right? What he did the whole game
I don't
was
think
run.
150. I don't think 150 yards is very.
I know. That's what's so amazing about how pathetic they were. Here's a guy who has 100 yards in 58 minutes, and he puts up 52 in 30 seconds. You can't be that bad.
34 came on one play.
Right,
I've
and
said
they
this
had
17
in
different
3
ways.
plays. They had 21 yards. They're at second and 1 on the 40. They're 46. How much time was still left? Wasn't there over a minute left?
Like 44 seconds, I think, for like mid-40s of seconds. So Homer, if you only give up another 8, you have to keep forcing DeVito to make a throw. You don't let him make one throw, and again, you can get after Joe Barry if you want. Keyshawn Nixon got beat. Keyshawn Nixon had potentially his worst game as a Packer tonight.
It wasn't good. Also not good, Dontavian Wicks' ankle. So he was questionable to return, obviously did not. And this is the post-game injury report presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference. Visit orthowisconsin.com today for more info. This was tweeted out about 10 minutes or so ago from Lauren Helmbrecht, who works at WFRV TV up in Green Bay, saying, spoke to Tay Wicks in the locker room. He said his ankle is, quote, bleeped up, and they think it's a high ankle injury. So not good news for Dontavian Wicks. Coming out of the game today, he only had 2 catches for 20 yards before he had to exit with that ankle injury.
How much did we miss Watson?
I think the combination of missing Watson and Wicks was big. I think it would have been navigatable without Wicks, but then, Samori Toure has been somebody who has been a healthy scratch over the winning streak, and he was, forced into action and was getting some targets in the end zone. Yeah, made a couple plays. He was serviceable, but he's not Wicks, or I would say the fall off is pretty far when you get to the Samori Toure portion of the depth chart.
I have one other question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there any discussion of Jair Alexander not playing, given what happened at the end of the game, or are you joining my club that I just don't think he's going to play again for the Packers?
I think he'll get back. I just don't know to what degree and when that'll be.
Yes, I believe he plays again at some point this season. Time to flush it or flesh it, thanks to our friends at the Gordon Flush Company.
Flush it.
We failed multiple times with bad ideas. I didn't know were bad till I realized they didn't work.
Or flesh it.
Yeah, that's one idea. Or we can work as a team.
Brought to you by Gordon Flesh Company. Business technology managed. Taking the worry out of your office equipment and IT needs.
I think this goes back to a point earlier, Tausch, that we were talking about. When a team is as young as the Packers is, I don't think there is a game, no matter how bad you think they play, where you can just flush it as much as you'd like to, because I think there's something you can learn from every game when you're this young. And I think the lesson probably for today is dealing with expectations after. Let's say, Homer pointed out earlier, they were 1-4. They did a heck of a job to get back to 500 and then put some expectations on themselves for the rest of the season. There were expectations to go into East Rutherford and win today, and they did not handle those expectations. So I think that's what you can kind of flesh out. That is what can be learned from this game is, okay, how do you deal? How do you prepare? How do you get yourself ready when you're expected to win versus being in the underdog role?
Yeah, I think last week when you have an emotional win like that and you kind of put your, especially for Jordan, you kind of put your stamp on the league and, this cat can play. And this team's pretty doggone good. They just took down the defending champs, even though I think the defending champs are flawed more so than maybe in the past. You have to see how your group will respond when everybody expects you to win. It is a different burden than just being an NFL player and you're nobody expects much of you. If you get a win, oh boy, what a good, nice win. All of a sudden, when you become the team or you become a player that everybody expects to play big every week, it becomes a heavy burden to kind of carry around with you. And this team this week, this was something totally new to them. They have been told all year they're too young. They're not good enough. It's next year. And all of a sudden now that narrative shifted, and they got a lot of attaboys. And they got a lot of that. And this team didn't. It's not always just about, well, they played like junk in the first half. Yeah, they did. How did you prepare during the week? Did you start reading and believing, well, the New York Giants stink. We can just go play. If we're okay, we're going to win. Well, it's not how it works. And I think just listening to Matt LaFleur's presser after the game, I think that was the message too. And, so we joked about Jordan Love saying, well, what did you want him to say? I want him to say what he said. We're going to be better. We're going to bounce back. That's all part of this growing process in trying to figure out how to become a good, winning, successful team with all these young players. Sometimes you have to go through some hiccups, and unfortunately tonight was a bad case of hiccups, and they're going to have them until they get back out there to play next week.
I would only add that if you're going to lose a game, this is a great game because Jordan Love stunk for much of the game, yet with the game on the line at the end, he took down and got him a touchdown. I mean, that's forgotten, but if this season is about assessing Jordan Love, he did it again in a different way. He still came through down the stretch. That would have been the story that here in this game actually is very similar to the games the Packers lost in the first starting season of Aaron Rodgers, where he made plays late in games and then the defense screwed up. But the premise of the most important thing about this team, and I would agree, is the development of Jordan Love. He showed, again, the kind of thing you need to be able to do, not play well, and somehow get it done at the end, and that shouldn't be forgotten.
That is flush it. Go ahead, Tausch.
Yeah, and I also agree with that, and I'll say this too. When you struggle like he did, and he threw the pick, and then he got the fumble, and he was throwing a couple balls that looked like October, sailing it, and you still have that confidence to throw darts at the end of that game, I'm more convinced about Jordan Love, even after a tougher performance tonight. He's got a lot of tangible things that you just absolutely love in a quarterback.
Yeah, he's the guy. And he added one more to the list of things you like to see from a young quarterback, right?
I'll join that club. Yep.
Yeah.
That is Flush It or Flesh It, presented, Tausch, by our friends at the Gordon Flesh Company.
Indeed, and it takes a team to meet just about any goal. That's true on the football field as it is in the office. The Gordon Flesh Company has been providing cutting-edge technology for companies of all sizes for what a great number, 65 years. Visit gflesh.com to learn more.
We're going to give our dogs of the game, plus get back to your phone calls coming up in just 2 minutes on Green Bay Game Night.
More Green Bay Game Night coming up on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Tito's handmade vodka is so good and smooth, you can mix it with anything. Now, hear us out. If your usual brunch cocktail sounds like a Tito's Bloody Mary stacked with garnishes is more like Tito's. Sounds pretty good. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
How much does it cost to talk to Gruber Law Offices after a serious crash? It's free. Yes, free. As in, it won't cost you anything to speak with us. Not sure if you have a case? Call our team at Gruber Law Offices today. Your first call and your first consultation are always free. And you'll never pay us a fee until we win your case. If you've been seriously injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
You're listening to Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ. You heard the final whistle. That means the postgame is ready to roll. This is Green Bay Game Night, powered by ESPN Wisconsin. Live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios in downtown Milwaukee. Alongside Homer and Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher, here's Gabe Neitzel.
Tough one tonight for the Green and Gold. They fall to the Giants on the road in New York, 24-22. Packers now fall to 6-7, just 2-5 away from Lambeau Field. Gabe Neitzel, Mark Tauscher, and Steve the Homer True with you. 800-990-3776, the number to get in. That's the Boda Box wine line. Before we get to our dogs of the game, let's go out to Kamal in Madison. Kamal has been patiently waiting. You're on Green Bay Game Night.
Hey, we're still the 7th seed, so that's okay. So I flipped over to the other game after our game. Are you guys still there?
Yeah, we're still here.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Same scenario. Miami just needed to drive down the field for a field goal to win the game, and the Titans, they stopped them. And it just made me think, we've just never had an elite defense. I mean, it doesn't matter which coordinator is back. It's just, since Reggie White, it just seems like...
No, they had one in 2010. They were second in the league in points given up.
Okay, right. Well, of course, we won the Super Bowl.
No, they were. They had Charles Woods, and
they
had a number. They were an elite defense, and that's what the Packers have needed in the last 60 years to win a Super Bowl. But they were in 2010.
So since 2010, right. We've never had an elite defense. And we're just kind of. I think that's where. I mean, even it's just really frustrating. So I don't know. Just that we just no matter who is the coordinator, and it seems like the defense just always gives up these. I mean, it was like, what was it, 3rd and 10, and they made a first down. How many third and longs did they get for a first down? I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous. But anyway, we're a good team, and sometimes we're average. But I don't think if we make the playoffs, it'll be good. I mean, it's a young team, make the playoffs, and then it'll be good. But we won't go very far.
Yeah, I think that's kind of I think everybody wants to make the playoffs, and that would be fantastic for this young team just to get that experience into the postseason. And everything's still in front of them. As Kamal said at the beginning of that conversation, right now they are the 6th seed, but there's still so much to play out. Or excuse me, the 7th seed, there's still so much to play out because, Minnesota's 7-6. They don't know what's going on at their quarterback situation. And then just the handful of other teams sitting there at 6-7. There is a long way to go before any of those tiebreakers and whatnot are kind of settled and played out. And you cannot take anything for granted, and you really have to focus up. You lose that game to Tampa Bay, it is going to be tough sledding to make the postseason. I saw on SportsCenter, boys, they have the Packers at a 47% chance to make the postseason.
I'll take the over on that.
I will, too.
I don't think there
that
was...
shows whatever cushion they had, they just gave it away.
Yeah. Well, 100%. Because, again, and so many other teams are sitting there at 6-7. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's give out our dog of the game.
We got dog. It's time for the Sit Mean Sit.
Yeah, we got
dog of the game.
John Money Alexander, Christian Watson, Quay Walker. He's a dog. Aaron Jones, Kenny Clark.
Presented by Sit Mean Sit Dog Training in Waukesha and Milwaukee. Visit sitmeansit.com.
Tausch, your dog of the game.
I'll leave you guys that low-hanging fruit.
As you always do, we appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm a low-hanging fruit leaver.
Hold on. Gabe,
Yeah.
do you know what the low-hanging fruit is?
I have no idea.
Yeah, he does.
I'm thinking
Gabe,
maybe Malik Heath. Is that? I don't know. He says low-hanging fruit, and if you don't know what
I'll
it
let
is,
you
then
guys
it can't be
decide.
low-hanging fruit. Gabe, I don't.
Well, I'll tell you if it is
take
and if
the
it isn't.
low-hanging
I think
fruit
it is.
because we don't think it's low-hanging.
No, it's low-hanging fruit.
Is it?
But defensively, I don't know if there's anybody that I think deserves it. So I don't even know who I would look at on that side of the football. and say they deserve it. So for me, I think one of the guys that I have really liked the last 3 or 4 weeks with Musgrave being injured, Tucker Kraft looks like the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
Big play over the middle. He's starting to really, I think, come into his own. And I think there's going to be a ton of fun things.
That's not low-hanging fruit.
That Matt LaFleur, that's not the low-hanging fruit.
I mean,
that's like apricots.
I mean,
you got to get a ladder.
I don't know. I mean, taking the leading receiver seems like low-hanging fruit, but I digress.
Okay.
Well, no. I'll tell you, there's an easy answer. He's got a tutter. He had a big. Tucker Kraft keeps improving and keeps showing us that he's figuring it out. I loved how he played tonight. He is my woof, 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 woof dog of the game.
Homer?
He was going to be my dog. I'm amazed how good he's become.
Yeah, he's a good
player. Do you
player.
even notice you miss Musgrave? The answer is no. And certainly they'd be better with him. Since you've done that, I'm going with, but I don't know that it's low-hanging fruit, but these are the things that I hate about sports, and there's nothing you can do about it. We should all be talking about Malik Heath. This should be the discussion of the incredible play. I mean, he only caught one pass. He's only playing because, and that was spectacular. That's the day he owns forever. I don't know that he's ever going to do anything great, but he would have owned this, and this game would be about that play in addition to the lucky thing they had as far as the fumble. But I'm saying and it's forgotten because you lost. Versus what it would be, the discussion would be talking about him. Who is he to have that kind of guts? He messed up the play before. He gets a second chance. Maybe he did catch the first one, and it's unfortunately forgotten because it doesn't carry the weight it would if they had won the game. So that's my terrible dog, and I feel sorry. This is a dog that you feel sorry for because he should have been the story of the game.
Yeah, to that point, and yeah, Tausch, I don't know if there are too many defensive players that necessarily deserved it today, but for me, Carrington Valentine, just kind of showing the type of player he is by picking up that football and running with it. By showing, hey, I didn't hear a whistle. I think that this is a fumble. It ends up with a big return, a huge return that puts them in the position where Malik Heath can do what he can do. And by not giving up on that play and doing what he did, that put the Packers in position, which ultimately is all going to be forgotten, like you said, Homer, because you end up losing the game, those heroic plays that you made. And I'm sure there's a ton of these, Tausch, that you probably remember back from 2008 because it feels like you guys, scored a touchdown about, 7 times with less than 2 minutes, only to have the defense give it right back and lose some of those games in Aaron Rodgers' first year as a starting quarterback. But Carrington Valentine doing what he did there, to me, made him my dog of the game. But
Boy,
Packers still lose 24-22.
I got to admit, I maybe don't understand the low-hanging fruit. I thought Jaden Reed deserved to be a dog tonight, and the fact that none of us picked him, next week after hopefully Green Bay bounces back, I am not leaving low-hanging fruit for you boys anymore.
Well, again, so like Jaden Reed, like he got a lot of touches and he had that rushing touchdown, Tausch. But when you have 8 catches for 27 yards, you had a lot of touches. You took some hits. I don't know if he was a big difference maker after that end around.
Okay,
wow.
Just because I'm old and I could be losing it, low-hanging fruit is like the easy choice, correct?
Correct.
The easiest choice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And you thought Jaden Reed was the easiest choice?
I did, yes.
Okay.
And I still do.
Why?
And why? Yes, that was my next game. I agree with you. I would have joined that club. I would have joined that club very strongly.
Just a simple follow-up question.
Yeah, I felt like that's where Green Bay went when the money was on the table. I think he made big play. He made the touchdown run.
Yeah.
I thought he did some good things with the jet sweeps. They ran it too much. But I just feel like he's becoming that guy.
Oh, 100%. I don't think he's a bad player. I just think that outside of the touchdown run and the first play of the game, it just seemed like there wasn't a ton of production there.
He had a bunch of rush yards and, what did you say, 27 yards?
So
That's all he had receiving?
8 catches for 27 yards.
Yeah. I guess I got to start.
The fruit to me.
I got to start re-looking. I got to start re-looking at the fruit. Okay. I legit thought easy breezy on the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm going to take some big.
They're comparing him to Devontae Adams. I mean, it was kind of a Tauscher by Joe Buck. Matt LaFleur,
that was Tay Wicks.
I'm not saying
that was Tay Wicks. That was Tay Wicks they were talking
Aikman
about.
Did that.
Oh, that's correct.
Aikman did that a few times tonight too, and I thought I'm going to text Homer and say, "See, even Aikman does what I did last."
By the way, yes, he does. By the way, you were right. I thought Aikman was mad at how bad the game was.
He was almost like Jay Billis. When I had to tell you to tell Jay Billis to knock it off, he sounded like he wanted to be anywhere else in the world but in East Rutherford, New York.
Right, because it was like the play was bad, and then it got worse. And then it got even worse than that. And
hey, Troy, you're getting paid, $1.5 million a game. Enjoy it. Come on.
Even when it's bad.
Yeah.
Well, Tausch, maybe you have to next week. Maybe you have to reevaluate the low hanging fruit. But one thing you never have to reevaluate is when you're pouring yourself at Tito's.
Oh yeah, Tito's handmade vodka on game day. Pour me in, coach, from a seat in the stands to the best seat on the couch. Root for your favorite team with your favorite team spirit. You can stack a spicy Bloody Mary for your warm up, or you can salt the rim of a Tito Rita during halftime. Or you could take some of that low-hanging fruit that I've been talking about. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. Mash it up. I'm a cranberry guy, which I think is low-hanging fruit. It's in water, so it's got to be low-hanging, right?
It's about as
but
low
it
as
all
it gets.
goes together great in a Tito's. Just visit Tito'sVodka.com. Find your recipe that you love, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Tausch, get some sleep. We'll hear more of your thoughts on this game tomorrow morning. Willie and Tausch starts at 9 a.m. on ESPN Wisconsin.
Sounds good, fellas.
More of your calls, Jason Wilde, still to come as we continue here on Green Bay Game Night.
We're back with Green Bay Game Night after this on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, a group of doctors I trusted with my knee surgery. The pain was real and options were important. My experience with each doctor was thorough, the appointments were timely, always close and easy access to the building. My mom felt the same way, I know, when she went there for her physical therapy appointments at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. I trusted their surgical team for my knee surgery, and I know they'll take care of you the way they did my mom and me. Make an appointment at orthowisconsin.com.
Hey, this is Gary Ellison for my good friends at the Jewelry Center. It's the only place I go when I'm looking to get some new jewelry. Dean and his team are always friendly and know just what I'm searching for when I stop by. I may not always know what type of jewelry I want, but the professionals there sure do. Plus, if I need repairs on watches or other jewelry, the Jewelry Center does that too. Find the Jewelry Center in Burlington, Brookfield, and Greenfield, or shop their entire collection online, including their popular Lightbox lab-grown diamonds at shoptjc.com.
For kids at the Salvation Army, a meal isn't just a meal. It's fuel for imagination, determination, and dreams. It's energy to be role models, change makers, and to just be kids. With your gift to the Salvation Army, a full meal is provided to a child, which leads to a full heart, a full night's sleep, and a future full of possibilities. Donate to the Salvation Army today, and you'll show local kids love beyond hunger at samilwaukee.org. That's samilwaukee.org.
Football fans, tailgating season is here, and if you want to win at tailgating, you need to Bodify your beverage choice. Bodabox wine is the ultimate addition to your tailgate party. This premium wine comes in a box, so it fits perfectly in your cooler or trunk, and there's no heavy glass or corkscrew to deal with. One 3-liter Bodabox is equivalent to 4 regular bottles of wine, so it's great for sharing. Bring the wine that wins with Wine Critics Bodabox. This is how we Boda. Please drink responsibly. Must be 21 or over. Bodabox Vineyards, Manteca, California.
Get your game on at the Island Resort and Casino with first-round picks of your favorite slots and table games. Bring friends and watch your favorite team compete on big screens. Grab game day eats in T. McSee's Sports Bar. Or celebrate your team's victory in Horizon's Steakhouse. To book your game time at the Island Resort and Casino, call 800-682-6040 today.
True Chicago-style pizza is thin, crispy, and cut into squares. And thanks to Connie's Frozen Pizza, you can enjoy a true slice of the city. You'll enjoy it so much you won't even mind where it comes from. Connie's Frozen Pizzas are made from the same cornmeal crust Connie's has been serving for over 60 years. They're perfectly cheesy, perfectly saucy, and they're exactly what you crave. Get to know the true Chicago style with Connie's Frozen Pizza. Born in Chicago, loved by cheeseheads. Available in a freezer aisle near you.
Tired of power outages disrupting your life? Make them a thing of the past by getting a Generac home standby generator from Adams Generators. Adams Generators is the largest and #1 rated Generac dealer in Wisconsin. With 24/7 emergency support, our factory-trained technicians are standing by to assist you. Visit adamspower.com/generators to make sure your power always stays on. That's adamspower.com/generators.
Do you check your savings account and wonder if you're even saving at all? At Town Bank, we view banking differently and actually want to see your savings grow. With our amazing new CD rates, you can now earn even more, so you can sit back and relax. Stop banking the same way, expecting different results, and start earning more. Go to townbank.us/locknewrates or visit a Town Bank branch nearest you today. Bank differently with Town Bank. Member FDIC.
This is Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
This one is down the middle and caught. That is Kraft, and he's still rumbling. Tucker Kraft takes it into Giants territory and brought down at the 41, good for 43.
Good life, that's what I'm told.
Packers fall to the Giants 24-22 on the road. We just gave our dogs of the game, and that is brought to you by Sit Means Sit. If your dogs don't always listen, or you find yourself asking, why don't they listen to what I say? Look no further than Sit Means Sit. You can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog. Contact Sit Means Sit Dog Training today in Milwaukee or Waukesha. Schedule a free consultation. Go to sitmeansit.com and check out their Milwaukee and Waukesha pages. Gabe Neitzel, along with Homer, hanging out with you until about 1:30 today. Jason Wilde going to join us at 1 o'clock. Until then, we'll take your calls on that Bodabox wine line, 800-990-3776. Let's go out to Thomas in Chicago. Thomas, you're on Green Bay Game Night.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. This year I feel like sums up to me where it's like you heard Ben Kurt say this, and you hear other people where it's like this offense is too basic and it's predictable. And I feel like with Matt LaFleur, it's just like I feel like he just runs the same old like the jet sweep. He ran that so many times, and I just feel like he's not putting the ball, or he's not giving the hot hand, like in basketball in terms, to his best players, and he's letting the system dictate. And I'm sick and tired of wasting a timeout in each half. And it's like he doesn't know the play clock's going. It's like I just wish we had a coach who can like call play and have two plays in mind dictating how the play's going to go, so that he keeps going. It's like in college, it's like college coaches just don't have a problem with just speeding the play clock, and I just feel like it's frustrating with LaFleur. It's like when he got hired with the Tennessee Titans, I think his offense was the 20th, and it's just frustrating that you see him coming from the Shanahan offense, and you just see Shanahan's offense just be so good. And I don't know about you guys. Now maybe that's because we don't have talent. We have a bunch of day three, and no offense to day three and undrafted, but I feel like maybe we don't have enough talent. Maybe that's the issue. I'm not sure. I hope you guys can just help me answer my question.
Yeah, I mean, I think LaFleur admitted, and I think he said in the podium today that it was a bad call. The 2-point conversion, he said it was a bad call. And I think that he's willing to admit that he probably went to the jet sweep too often. But I also noticed, Thomas, that there weren't a lot of calls like this when the Packers beat the Lions, when they beat the Chiefs. I think they've found a rhythm within this offense. Certainly didn't have it tonight, and they didn't have it early. So when Jordan Love's missing the way he did early, it was kind of all over the place. I think that throws LaFleur for a loop. And then he's trying to play catch-up of, okay, what do I call? But in the second half, they kind of found that rhythm. But again, part of the issue is I think their best two receivers are Jaden Reed and Dontavian Wicks. And during beating the two best teams on their schedule that they've had, Christian Watson's had big games. So you didn't have Christian Watson. Oh, by the way, Aaron Jones is out. Tay Wicks goes down early. So now Samori Toure, who you don't feel great about because he's been a healthy scratch, and Malik Heath are getting a lot of run with your team. And, it's still, even though they had that success with the 3-game winning streak, it's still a young team. You saw the mistake by Jaden Reed not looking for the football or not being able to track the football in the corner of the end zone. Like, that's a good play. That was well executed. And then one guy just didn't execute his job out there, and that was Jaden Reed.
Yeah. And then I have another quick question. Sorry to cut you off. But like another problem I have with I know these are young guys, but with the air raid offense in college. Having an air raid offense and spreading out your receivers, it helps you if you have a decent offense line, it helps you gain like quick plays. It's like the whole thing in college is like they teach you get the ball to your best playmaker and let them do it. That's why you see a lot of people get the ball up within 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. So I just don't know why. In a lot of these offenses at college, especially in shotgun, because I don't know why we don't run the ball more with under center. So AJ Dillon has more of a steps to get momentum. But I don't know why we don't spread out the receivers and then just run the ball, because if you have everyone bunched up, 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends, the defense is going. Guess what? They're going to all be inside the box, and then you're going to have less room. But if you spread out the receivers and spread the offense, you have more space and you have more ways to pull guards, and it helps you have a mediocre offense. I just don't know why we don't spread out the offense and then just run the ball at the middle. I just don't know why we're not creating space and using motion and using formations to spread out the defense and then just run out the middle with AJ Dillon, because having everything so compact, it's you're just going to be running the brick wall.
Yeah, and we appreciate the call time. I mean, Matt LaFleur uses motion as much as anybody in the league.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Gabe.
Sure.
I've never, in all the time I've watched the NFL, ever felt comfortable saying it's play calling, because first of all, I don't have a play calling guy.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't know when it's a good play and not a good play. I mean, I generally think, it's based on how it works. But you see the benefit of being 3rd and 2 versus 3rd and 9. Mm-hmm. So I need a book. I need something. I'm capable of judging the game. I didn't think for a minute about play calling other than the possibility of the 2-point play.
Other than I think they ran the jet sweep stuff too much tonight.
Don't you assume they did that because one, they were missing some wide receivers, and it's worked, and I
think they went to that too much tonight. But I've never been a play calling guy, Homer. I'm with you, because outside of pass run, and this is again proving out to earlier this season, right? And LaFleur, and I know Jason's talked about it in terms of LaFleur was holding some things back because he didn't know what his team could handle. Then he just when he had the conversation with Jordan Love, hey, we got to rip it. Hey, we just have to open this thing up. And then you started to see more things they were doing in terms of motion and trying to hide things. But when you have a young team like this, it's just so hard, especially when you're watching the TV copy. I don't know what the route concepts are, 9 times out of 10 when you're watching on TV. You have no idea. I don't know outside of, I think they should run it here, or I think they should pass it here, or I was a little uncomfortable on 4th down when they decided to run out of shot. I thought they were just going to run the ball or do the tush push or the love shove, whatever you want to call it in Green Bay if you want to do it with Jordan Love. And, I mean, this was super early in the game. They ended up getting the first down because Tay Wicks, extended the ball and got the yard that he needed to pick up the first down. But, I mean, other than that, I'm not with you. I don't know what predictable, when Thomas says, they're so predictable, I don't know what he's talking about.
Well,
I don't.
And then when I listen to games, or you listen to Aikman, or you listen to guys that played quarterback or Tony Romo, they don't seem to say that very much. Once in a while, I think Aikman, didn't he say it about one play? I was surprised. He was talking more about the Giants.
Yeah.
But if it was so obvious, it just seems to me they would say, hey, and it makes me think that so much of the play calling is the result of the game plan. And they don't have exactly the game plan. I can't believe the teams give it to them. But, I mean, if he hadn't run so well, I think somebody would have said, well, they gave the ball to Taylor too much, but he looked pretty good.
Taylor had 4 carries for 30 yards.
Yeah, I think he did catch a pass or two. And, I don't.
2 catches, 22 yards.
Yeah, how far? So if he doesn't have those numbers, those are pretty good numbers. Then you'd say, what are you giving him the ball for? He's 9th string or whatever. So, and yet it seemed to work. So I'm not saying that these people are wrong.
Yeah,
I got nothing.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think that's very fair.
There were a couple. The one pass that Jordan Love threw, and again, to me, he was a little late or a little short. Was it Toure that was in the end zone? I think.
Where he tried to make the diving catch, and they broke it down where he wanted to throw it earlier, but he had to avoid the pass rush. Then he's throwing on the run. He just ran out of space. Yeah.
So I'm open to the concept of play calling, but give me something.
Yeah, it's tough. It's just tough when that's what because I don't know about you, Homer. I've never called plays at any level.
Well, no, and I've never heard anybody who explained it so well.
Yeah.
In terms of on this, you should do this, and if it's not easy for them and all those quarterbacks who are working that played the game, you can hear Orlovsky talk forever, and he mostly talks about the performance of the plays, or the players, how the quarterback's doing. I don't even think he talks that much about, the play calling was terrible. Now, once in a while, I think he has based on the quarterback. If it's a young quarterback or a certain quarterback, I would let him run more, things like that. But aside from that, which makes me think it's really hard to say it, or all those people would. They comment on everything else except play calling.
Yeah, it's because again, you just don't know unless you're a part of the team preparation, the way that they teach it, coach it. It gets pretty complicated pretty fast.
Right.
I think, but maybe I'm wrong.
Often than not, no, it makes me think more often than not it's on the players.
Yeah, it's about execution.
The play call was okay. The quarterback didn't execute, or the wide receiver didn't execute. And that's what causes it, because I think otherwise they'd say, that call stunk.
Football fans, tailgating season is here. If you want a chance to win at tailgating, you need to Botify your beverage choice. Botobox wine is the ultimate addition to your tailgate party. This premium wine comes in a box fitting perfectly in your cooler or trunk, and there's no heavy glass or corkscrew to deal with. 1 3-liter Botobox is equivalent to 4 bottles of wine, so it's great for sharing. Bring the wine that wins with wine critics. Botobox. This is how we Bota. Please drink responsibly. Must be 21 or older. Botobox Vineyards, Manteca, California. We'll get back to your phone calls, 800-990-3776, as we continue here on Green Bay Game Night.
We're back with Green Bay Game Night after this on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experiences to all of our valued customers.
We will help you find the perfect vehicle within your budget while respecting your time.
With 20 convenient locations, we're the one-stop destination for all your automotive needs.
At Boucher, we're your trusted partner on every mile of your journey, riding with you every mile since 1977.
In the heart of downtown Milwaukee, there's an all-new Potawatomi Casino Hotel, where there's a table waiting for you at 12 bars and restaurants, a winning seat at 40 table games or 3,000 slot machines, plus the thrill of bingo, full-service sports betting, and more. Are you ready to spark something new? Light up your senses at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Explore more at paysbig.com.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Tito's handmade vodka is so good and smooth, you can mix it with anything. Now, hear us out. If your usual brunch cocktail sounds like a Tito's Bloody Mary stacked with garnishes is more like Tito's. Sounds pretty good. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Ever wonder how the best athletes find the power to jump higher, cut quicker, skate smoother, drive farther, and stick the landing? At Prevea Orthopedics in Green Bay, we know power starts with the hips. That's why Dr. Michael Ryan and our team of experts provide comprehensive and advanced expertise in hip care, unlike anywhere else. Come to Prevea Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, where we can preserve your hips so you can pursue your goals. Prevea Orthopedics, specializing in you.
Sharon needed legal help. She needed Gruber Law Offices.
When I think about Gruber Law Office, I think about how they took care of me, how they make sure that you get what you're supposed to get. Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all. I will always trust one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
They are the best. I'm very happy.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 10 to 12 count or 10 to 12 ounce selected varieties Folgers or Dunkin' Donuts coffee, $6.99. 18 to 80 count selected varieties Hefty trash bags, $7.99. 23.6 to 36 ounce selected varieties Edwards cream pies, $5.99. 5 to 8 ounce selected varieties Sargento shredded cheese, 2 for $6.
Look at those brats. You do tailgating right. Absolutely. Did you see the spread out there? You've got enough food to feed the entire lot. I'm splurging now and then hoping to win $700 in free groceries. $700? Yeah, it's all part of the 70th anniversary at Century Foods. No kidding. Next week, I'll do the shopping. Maybe I'll score $700 in groceries. All you need is the weekly code. It's on Century's Facebook or Instagram. Oh, I just remembered. I'll be out of town next week. Yeah, right, cheapskate.
Ends January 3rd.
This is Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
3 in the backfield behind DeVito. They hand, and Barkley didn't get it. Eric Wilson made the stop. And a turnover on downs as the Packers defense makes a play.
Rum Chata is the perfect blend of rum, cream, cinnamon, and vanilla flavors. Carefully select the finest ingredients to create the world's finest liqueur, combining premium Caribbean rum, the highest quality dairy cream, sourced right here from Wisconsin, and Mexican spice. Backed by popular demand, Rum Chata Peppermint Bark is now in stores for a limited time. Rum Chata, have your unusual. You can find Rum Chata Original and Rum Chata Peppermint Bark at your local grocer or your favorite liquor store, bottled in Pewaukee, Wisconsin.
800-990-3776, the number to get into the Boda Box wine line here on Green Bay Game Night. Homer and Gabe hanging out with you. Jason Wilde scheduled to join us in about 45 minutes. Let's go out to Mo in Madison. Mo has been patiently waiting. Mo, you're up next on Green Bay Game Night.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
You lose that game. And again, it just feels like everything's going wrong. Everything's going wrong, yet you have a 3-point halftime lead. Everything's going wrong, yet Saquon Barkley trips over his own 2 feet, fumbles the football. Carrington Valentine returns it. You get to the point where Malik Heath makes a heck of a catch. He's in the end zone, gets the touchdown, and it was all for nothing. So you end up losing at the end. It's also terribly disappointing.
I thought after they scored, I thought they were going to win.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be like this.
They stole
be
it.
The Packers
they stole.
Year,
yep.
Given what
they had to get the 2-point conversion.
We didn't talk about it. Haven't talked about much, but it's true. It was a huge deal because they'd gone overtime.
Maybe. I mean, the Giants clearly, once the Giants got to the 20-yard line, they're like, nope, we're not taking any more risks. Where they got down there so quickly, they may have punched it into the end zone. It may have not have mattered.
It's possible. Yep.
Special teams today was definitely terrible on all parts.
Yeah, I mean, some of it was unfortunate. Rudy Ford was very unlucky to get the penalty that he got because, the wind was whipping, and so he's just running down the field. He's trying to get off his blocker. Next thing he knows, the punt returner's right by him, and he runs into him. That's unfortunate. But other things, to your point, Mo, Keyshawn Nixon not just staying on the football, it's just dumb. That's just a bad decision.
Yeah, it was terrible. He should just laid on the ground, just sucked it up, and we go from there.
For paying, isn't he the highest paid special teams coach in the league?
Yes.
I don't feel like they're the best.
I think
no, they're ranking very low.
Isn't Keyshawn Nixon making like $10 million a year too?
No, he got like a $5 million contract, like 5 or 6, something like that.
5?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good though.
Well, but he's not just a returner. You know, he's also been pretty key in what they've been doing on defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, you know. I mean, last week he had the game ball, and now this week he's got lane ball.
Yeah, I'd like to know what he was doing on that last catch.
I was actually going to ask Tausch. I was like, what do you do when like a guy like messes up so badly that for one game? What do you get? I mean, I know you don't hand out game balls in a loss. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe you. That's what
I don't think you do. I don't think that's the way that works. You only get the game ball if it's a winning effort.
Well, I get that, but like, you're right, absolutely. But like, Jaden Reed played really well tonight, and like, I don't know why they called that play on that 2-point conversion.
I think he called it.
It seemed like it was
he
blocked
limited
okay at first,
because plays that they like involve players that weren't available. Don't you think that, Gabe? I think if Wicks is in, or Watson, they were on a different play.
But they knew that Watson wasn't going to be available. So when we talked about this with Tausch earlier, he said usually you have 2 plays that you run and you feel really good about. And clearly, for whatever reason, the jet sweep or just getting the ball in the backfield to Jaden Reed was something that Matt LaFleur was very keen on throughout the course of this game. But yeah, and LaFleur said it was a bad call at the end.
If Wicks was in the game, would he have called that play? I say no.
I doubt it. Okay. Yeah. So my guess is the other one. If I had to make an assumption about what the other play was, it was probably a pass.
Yeah. So when Wicks is not in there now, which do I like better if you're LaFleur? And to me, and again, this isn't play calling, but it was like a screen. There were so many linemen over there.
Yeah.
Which isn't that a little different? I mean, usually when you're going to him, it's like him against one guy, right? Mm-hmm. Because in that case, some of the other blocks, if the blocks weren't good, then you get 3 people out there that he's got to get rid of, and he doesn't have much space. But
yeah.
That's not a play call. That's like it just seemed different in that regard.
Yeah. Matt LaFleur after the game said, quote, "It's just obviously a bad call."
And then, but he's like, I think, why I think he says that? Because it didn't work.
Well, yeah, and it had no chance of working.
Correct, but it would sound crazy to go like, no, I like the call.
Yeah.
Because then the option is I like the call, and they executed it like crap.
Correct, and he's never going to throw. He's never going to throw his guys under his bus.
Publicly. We know he did it privately early in the year.
Correct.
Yes.
He's not going to do that. Quickly, let's go to Nick in Illinois. Nick, you're up next on Green Bay Game Night. Packers fall to the Giants 24-22.
Hi there. So the rough part about the game tonight is that as badly as they played in some of these games earlier this season, I felt like in the last few weeks we had put that ugliness behind us and that the low bar performance was going to be much higher than what we saw tonight. So that's an unfortunate part. I don't understand why Romeo Doubs isn't seen as more of like a potential number 1 receiver option. Because the guy is so aggressive.
That's easy. Oh, that's easy. He's not quick enough. He's not fast enough. He just doesn't create the separation. He doesn't create the separation needed to be a number 1 or potentially a number 2.
Okay, maybe he's not fast enough, but he's the most aggressive guy at the point of attack at the ball.
100%.
Nobody else on the team goes. And, that's why it's okay, he might not get separation, but he doesn't need it. He's so athletic. He jumps for it. He attacks the ball. And I think, on a goal line situation, isn't that what characteristic that you want to, go for? And finally, last point, as badly as he played earlier this season, I think, if you're talking about a dog for the Packers tonight, A.J. Dillon has been playing like a dog for a solid month here. And I hope that we get him back next year.
I mean, look, I think A.J. Dillon...
He'll have to take an incredibly nice...
15 carries for 53 yards, long of 8.
Yeah, I mean, when Aaron Jones is in there, I don't see him producing like he did in the past. That offensive line is not what it was.
I fully expect them just to hit the reset button at running back. I guess if they bring A.J. Dillon back on something close to the minimum, if that's something he'd be interested in, but I just don't see a market for A.J. Dillon right now. He's a great guy. He loves Wisconsin. I want to really like him because of how much he likes Wisconsin. But the production's just not there. He was better as a first-year and second-year guy.
Gabe, you watch, even Taylor shows you an elusiveness that Dillon doesn't have.
Yeah,
Taylor.
You see more speed, yeah.
And again, you see flashes of it from A.J. Dillon. There are a couple of really nice runs that he has, and then again, at the end of the night, you look at the score sheet and you're going, 3.5 yards a carry. That ain't getting it done. That's just not going to get it done. 800-990-3776. Back to your phone calls. Have a couple texts I want to get to as well on that Boat Up Box Wine line as we continue here on Green Bay Game Night. But are you heading home from the game or sitting at home? You've been driving home before. You wishing there's just another way? Maybe you'd rather take a nap or keep the party going instead of being behind the wheel, and there is a perfect and safe solution. Milwaukee Broadhouse, Jack's American Pub, and Wanakee Golf Course all offer transportation on game days. They've got bus services with private restrooms and all-you-can-drink packages. Book your round-trip ride from any of these locations and get complimentary access to an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate at the bar on Holmgren Way. Make your tailgate experience a VIP experience with your official ride to Green Bay. There's still room for the December 17th game, which... just 6 days away. Well, technically, it's Tuesday, so it's 5 days away. It's 12/21. What do you want? Book your trip today. GolfWanakee.com. Use the code ESPN23 for 10% off. More of your calls next. Green Bay Game Night.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Night will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Get your game on at the Island Resort and Casino with first-round picks of your favorite slots and table games. Bring friends and watch your favorite team compete on big screens. Grab game day eats in T. McSee's Sports Bar or celebrate your team's victory in Horizon's Steakhouse. To book your game time at the Island Resort and Casino, call 800-682-6040 today.
Q Club of Wisconsin is your hangout spot for watching sports, playing games, and having some drinks. Mike, what do you have going on over there?
Gary, we have so much going on. We're still the place to be on game days to catch the green and gold. Book a holiday party in our VIP room, which includes a private pool table, 2 shuffleboard tables, and 4 dartboards. Plus, we got great live music every Saturday night. And of course, we've got our fish fry on Wednesdays and Fridays, where we pile it high.
All happening at the Q Club of Wisconsin, North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Check out QClubofWisconsin.com.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 10 to 12 count or 10 to 12 ounce selected varieties Folgers or Dunkin' Donuts coffee, $6.99. 18 to 80 count selected varieties Hefty Trash Bag, $7.99. 23.6 to 36 ounce selected varieties Edwards Cream Pies, $5.99. 5 to 8 ounce selected varieties Sargento Shredded Cheese, 2 for $6.
Look at those brats. You do tailgating right. Absolutely. Did you see the spread out there? You've got enough food to feed the entire lot. I'm splurging now and then hoping to win $700 in free groceries. $700? Yeah, it's all part of the 70th anniversary at Century Foods. No kidding. Next week, I'll do the shopping. Maybe I'll score $700 in groceries. All you need is the weekly code. It's on Century's Facebook or Instagram. Oh, Oh, I just remembered. I'll be out of town next week.
Yeah, right, cheapskate.
Ends January 3rd.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust. For most men, there's nothing we want more than to stay young, fit, and active, which is why our New Year's resolutions usually include some form of getting in shape. The experts at Forward Healthy Lifestyles in Germantown are here to help you reach those goals. Testosterone optimization helps with muscle mass and tone, as well as weight management and having the energy and endurance to get in the gym. Forward Healthy Lifestyles also offers weight loss programs like semaglutide to help combat those endless holiday temptations. Visit forwardhealthylifestyles.com for a free consultation.
Bikers need protection, not just from other drivers, but unfortunately from insurance companies too. If you've been injured in a motorcycle crash, call Gruber Law Offices today. Bikers are often blamed for causing the accident because the insurance companies simply don't want to pay. At Gruber Law Offices, we've been fighting for injured bikers and their families for more than 30 years. Trust us to fight for what you deserve. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Shop Fleet Farm for Hot Fleet Fest deals this Friday through Sunday, in-store only. Like an extra 15% off all kitchen appliances and cookware. And hunters save an extra 10% on all tree stands, trail cams, blinds, and hunting apparel. Plus, you can still save $10 instantly on any purchase of $75 or more with our seasonal savings coupon. Shop in-store for these Fleet Fest deals and more this weekend only at Fleet Farm. Home of everything you need for a very merry shopping season.
Hi everyone, John Miller here from PDS, a Converge company. PDS has been providing technology solutions and transforming IT for area companies for over 30 years. Today, we are helping organizations integrate digital workplace strategies that are giving today's worker the true ability to work from anywhere as they balance work and life both securely and productively. And as HP's largest partner in the area, our combined solutions have never been more important. If you're struggling with this, know we stand ready to help. From ideation to transformation, we can help you evolve your work from anywhere strategy. Learn more at pdsit.net.
Welcome back to Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Over the middle, a high throw caught by A.J. Dillon. He made Pinnock miss, and then off to the races is Big 28. Pinnock and McFadden missed tackles, and A.J. Dillon rumbles after the catch for 34.
It has been a season of ups and downs. Yeah, the downs. For the green and gold, that can be expected with a young roster. Something that isn't so inconsistent should be your pregame tailgating game plan. Stop by your local store and stock up for your tailgate with delicious craft beverages, like a few of Wisconsin's favorite craft beers from Three Sheeps Brewing in Sheboygan and Central Waters Brewing in Amherst in Milwaukee. Our guests at the Thunder Trio enjoy these products at our pregame tailgate all season. Make sure Three Sheeps Central Waters are a part of your next tailgate.
800-990-3776 is the number to get into the show. Let's go out to James, who was at the game tonight. James, you're up next with Homer and Gabe on Green Bay Game Night.
Oh, my God. Sorry about my voice. I was screaming a lot. We were right behind the Packers end zone from the start. And here's my big question for everyone. Being at the game tonight, it kind of felt like the same thing over and over on defense. I'm not going to throw Joe Barry's name out there, even though I just did. If you were going to fire someone, let's just say that Homer and you both have the option to let go of one leadership person on the team to get better for next year. And it doesn't mean that they're going today, but at the end of the season, you're like, gosh, we got to cut the lowest common denominator. Who are you letting go to improve for next year? I'd love to hear from both Gabe and Homer on that one.
Wow, what are my choices? Who's in the group?
I mean, I guess anybody in a leadership position.
I mean,
any leadership position or a coach on the Packers.
Position?
Yeah, I mean, you have special teams coordinator certainly up there, yes.
I'm not I don't know. It's right on the edge. Joe Barry's done too well this year, even with the finish of the game tonight, to get rid of him. I mean, I think they're ninth, or they're going to be 9th or 10th or thereabouts in points given up, and they've only been that good, I think, like once in the last 12 years since 2010. I don't want to pay the special teams coach the most of any special teams coach in the league.
I guess I don't care what the special teams coach makes.
I know.
It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care what you're paying anyone. Like, to me, Homer, that's as irrelevant as when you talk about draft picks and whether can you do this or not. Like, the Packers have enough money to pay how much ever they want to pay.
Who are you going to get rid of?
Oh, Joe Barry. Yeah.
That easy, huh?
Yeah, it's that easy for me. I think he can get manipulated. Like, I just want to see what it's like if anybody in. Look, maybe this is Mike Pettin, and maybe it's just the way the league operates now. But I just want to see what happens if somebody's interested in stopping the run. Just to see what happened. I mean, that's I guess where I would start. That being said, like everything you still said, Homer, is 100% true. Like the defense has been better than I thought this year, and yet at key times they just don't answer the call. Like there still seems to be something missing. I don't know if that's the coordinator. I don't know if they just have a bunch of average to good players and they don't have any of those difference makers. My guess is they don't have a lot of those difference makers. Like Rashawn Gary should be a difference maker. I think of when you bring up that 2010 Super Bowl team, Homer, they had a lot of difference makers on that team.
That's right.
Like Tremont, Clay, Charles, Nick Collins. Like there were a lot of difference makers, and Cullen Jenkins. I know a lot of people loved Cullen Jenkins. Like they had a lot of difference makers or if you want to use the Ron Wolf term, field tilters. And maybe that's not Joe Barry's fault. Like how many field tilters do they have? They've got some nice players. But the only one they have that can potentially tilt the field is Rashawn Gary right now.
Well, and the number one field tilter was supposed to be Jair Alexander.
Yeah, and he's not out there.
He's at the top of the list, and he's not playing. Yeah, I don't know. I never would have hired Joe Barry in the first place, but I can't dispute that you'd like a different approach to see what would happen. Because there are these times, and I think the end of the game was the same way, where they're just horrific bad. You say as the rushing yards against Phil, they're just these times that you go, it can't happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it does. Like, you can't have, in whatever defense you're playing, Tommy DeVito, I looked at it, he was 13 of 17 for 106 yards when they got the ball with 133 left. Who's afraid of anybody who's got 106 yards? And you said it, he had, I think, 71 rushing. The concern was that he might be able to run for a couple plays.
Yep, and he made a big play through the air.
106 yards, completes, as I said, not just that last pass, which was as touched bad, but he completed 3 in a row for, almost 20 yards. So he's moved down quickly.
But at the same time, Homer, so this from Andy Herman, who tweeted this out, maybe about a half hour ago. Packers have allowed between 19 and 24 points to 7 of their last 8 opponents. Brett Rippon's Rams being the exception. Obviously, they only scored 3. Doesn't matter if it's Mahomes, Goff, Pickett, DeVito, Cousins, Wilson. It's going to be about 19 to 24 points. They've also allowed 17 to 25 points in 14 of the 16 games. And ultimately, the scoreboard's the one thing that matters, right? And I think it could be tough to, maybe this is just a strike of luck. I think maybe over the course of a long season, it's tough to give up some of the yardage numbers they have and still only give up that many points. But at the end of the day, you give up between 19 and 24 points, you're going to feel pretty darn good about that in the 2023 version of the NFL.
Yeah, you go back and look at the last 2 Super Bowl winners, I think, gave up. No, yeah, that's true.
So it's tough for me as somebody who has been very vocal against Joe Barry to balance that and then read something like that and see, okay, 7 of the last 8 games they've given up between 19 and 25 points, with the exception being giving up 3. They haven't given up that big 30-point game outside of the Lions this year. They gave up 34 to the Lions in that loss. Other than that, they're not getting, they're not giving up a ton of points. They're in every one of these games.
Yes, their point differential, I think they're still above, they're still a plus.
Yeah. because they've got an 18-point win. Again, the only two games they weren't in were the Lions and Vikings games, where they lost by 2 scores. Other than that, they're hanging in there, and they've got opportunities, and they don't capitalize. So it's just tough for me to balance the frustration that I have with Joe Barry, and maybe I just need to accept that that's good enough in today's NFL.
I need to find a different stat. Because it's you hold teams. I mean, as I stated about last year, and to some degree it's true this year, the problem with the Packers is offense. Mm-hmm. They're nowhere near the top. You have to be, and again, I've alluded to like the last 7 years, you got to be in the top 8, and in most cases even a little better than that, to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It can't be done without an offense that good, and they're nowhere close other than, 2 or 3 years ago they were number 1.
Yeah, they
Last
scored.
year they were like 15th.
Yeah, the 2 years that Rodgers won MVP, obviously the offense was good enough, but they've scored 30 points once this year.
Yeah. So the offense is, to me, getting better. It wasn't good tonight, but then when the game was on the line, they found a way to get in and get a touchdown. Though then our discussion, it's just the difference. If the Packers had won, you know what our discussion would have been? Were they lucky? Right?
Sure, but
because of the fumble.
And they probably would have been Homer, but then they still had to capitalize on the fumble because they didn't capitalize on the muffed punt, earlier. They didn't capitalize all the time.
And they would have had to stop them defensively.
Correct. Which they didn't. Yeah. 800-990-3776. More of your calls, just 2 minutes here on Green Bay Game Night.
More Green Bay Game Night coming up on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Hear that? It's the sound of a winning December at Potawatomi. Play with your club card December 7th, 14th, and 21st. The more you play, the bigger your share of $400,000 in reindeer rewards. And like a classic Midwest winter, the wins can really pile up. Dash to Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee for your reindeer rewards. $400,000 worth. Learn more at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Life's better with an auto policy from American Family Insurance. No matter what dreams you're driving towards. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto coverage at the right price. You'll also save up to 23% when you bundle auto with home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Gabe Neitzel here. I know you've already heard me talking about how Mentality has helped me over the years, but there are others like me. Jason has been using Mentality for a while now and is loving the results.
I have gotten a handful of friends, probably a couple dozen, especially those that are closer to my age, maybe even a little bit older, because I just tell them, you got to check this out. Do not wait any longer. Just go and admit it. Yep, you're at an age where things are slowing down. I promise you, you're not going to regret it, and that's truly what I get. I'll get a phone call after, like, man, I feel like a kid at Chuck E. Cheese right now.
Learn more today at LowTUSA.com.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is so good and smooth, you can mix it with anything. Now, hear us out. If your usual brunch cocktail sounds like a Tito's Bloody Mary stacked with garnishes is more like Tito's. Sounds pretty good. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
You're listening to Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ. You heard the final whistle. That means the postgame is ready to roll. This is Green Bay Game Night, powered by ESPN Wisconsin. Live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios in downtown Milwaukee. Alongside Homer and Packers Hall of Famer Mark Tauscher, here's Gabe Neitzel.
Packers fall to the Giants, 24-22, Green Bay Game Night. Gabe Neitzel, Steve the Homer True. Jason Wilde going to be joining us in about 20 minutes. Until then, we'll take your calls. We'll take your texts, 800-990-3776. On the Bodabox Wine line, let's go out to Larry in California. Larry, you're up next on Green Bay Game Night.
Yeah, okay, Gabe and Homer. I just tuned you guys in, so I don't know if this was brought up. Why isn't Jordan running the ball himself? He didn't run one play in this game, and the other quarterback.
You sure about that? You sure about that, Larry?
Oh, I know he ran one that didn't go so well.
Yeah.
Well, how much did he run? Because I certainly was watching the whole game, and I didn't see him making any run attempts on his own. I didn't see any big gaps.
You don't remember the read option where he fumbled?
Well, okay, he did fumble, but I don't consider that a run.
It was a read
know.
option, man. Like he faked the give to the running back and ran to the outside, and defense read it, got sandwiched, and coughed it up.
Well, that Tommy DeVito gained over 70-plus yards. Where was Jordan? I mean, he's the poster boy for the Packers this year, and everyone's talking about how he's the next replacement for Aaron. Why isn't he running when he knows that they're not going to look for him to be keyed on as far as trying to tackle him? I mean, I don't know what. It's just that there was points in this game where he should have ran the ball instead of handing it off to Dillon or doing these reverse. They did 3 reverses or whatever tonight, and I don't know what the hell this team is doing. I mean, I would have thought that he would be running the ball himself.
Before we address that, are you 4-win Larry from California?
Yes. I admitted it that I was wrong about it, okay? We're over the bridge on that one, okay? Now I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs. And I didn't predict that either. You know, I'm hoping they make the playoffs, but the way they're bunched up with 6 other teams, I don't know. I just don't know if they're going to make it. And they played horrible today. This had to be the worst game this whole season. I looked at the schedule from the wins and the losses that they had. This had to be the worst loss this whole season to this point. There's nothing I can say.
No, I can tell you you're wrong. You cannot have your worst loss when late in the game, Jordan Love, it would have been a fourth quarter comeback, with the team behind, drives them down and scores a touchdown. I mean, he's your future quarterback, and appropriately it's been issued that this is all a great deal about him. And this was a plus for Jordan Love, given how poorly he played, to come back at the end of the game, not care about it, and lead the Packers to what they thought was a winning touchdown. You cannot, that in a game, well, for a team that's lost 7 games, the worst game cannot be one in which your first-year starter comes back and creates a fourth-quarter comeback. They were actually down, 11? What were they down?
They were down 8. They were down 8.
Correct.
Yeah, the biggest deficit was 21-13.
I mean, do you think they're actually going to make the playoffs, both of you guys? Do you actually think they're going to make the playoffs?
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
Yep. Going down with the ship.
Now, I think next week's game is huge. I think if they lose that game, I don't know, but I think they beat Tampa Bay.
Yes.
But I think they make the playoffs.
Well, I'm impressed with him at times right now during the season. But, they're the youngest team in the NFL. So, if they don't make the playoffs, at least they'll have the experience of going through the rough times here of trying to make, something out of something. That's what I can say.
Yeah, we appreciate the call there. And that's what would make this so special, to be as bad as they were in the month of October. And you want to talk about their worst loss? To me, their worst loss is the other time they played on Monday night when Jordan threw 3 picks and you lost to a Raiders team that then benched their quarterback and fired their coach not long after the Packers played them. That's a tough one. That's a tough one for me. I mean, maybe, mileage varies. Maybe you have a different worst loss. That's the one that sticks out for me. But I'm with you, Homer. Like there were enough positive things today, and it's not the first time with Jordan where we've seen him kind of struggle through games and yet in the fourth quarter be able to kind of calm things down and pull it out. Which he did until the defense didn't.
Yeah, with missing, do you say he's missing 3 of his top 4 receivers or 5, right? With no Watson and then no Wicks and then no Musgrave. So what, 3 of their top 6 or something?
Yeah,
like
3 of their top 6, something like that. Mm-hmm.
He's and still got it done. I mean, I think I didn't think Kraft was that good. I didn't think, Kraft
came in. Kraft has almost been better. Like, because let me ask you this, Homer. When it comes to the big play that Tucker Kraft had today, where he made the catch, took the hit, staying on his feet, does Musgrave stay on his feet?
No.
Like, I mean, and I'm not saying that Tucker Kraft is better. I just think that he's been performing better. I think Musgrave still has a little bit more potential in terms of the size-speed combination. But Tucker Kraft's been a lot better than I thought he would be.
No, they're going to have two starters. I mean, I think I look at him as a future starter,
which is great for this offense. You have two tight ends you can count on. You can do some special things offensively in terms of putting a lot of pressure on the middle and interior of the defense, which could potentially open up some things on the outside for whoever emerges between the four receivers that they've taken in the last 2 years in the draft. 800-990-3776. More of your calls coming up next here on Green Bay Game Night, but I want to remind you, you can ring the bell and tip-tap for Green Bay's pro team this football season. Salvation Army salutes bell ringers this holiday season and asks that you donate into the Red Kennels, or, because people don't necessarily carry cash on them, you can donate electronically with tip-tap. Your support helps those in need throughout Wisconsin. Your calls on the Botobox Wine Line next on the Green Bay Game Night.
We're back with Green Bay Game Night after this on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Circus Sports is now available at American Place. Bet on your favorite Milwaukee and Wisconsin teams, from Wisconsin football and basketball to all the Milwaukee basketball action, as well as more games nationwide. The Circus Sportsbook at American Place has 36 TVs, so you won't miss any of the action. And it's just 30 minutes from Kenosha and 45 minutes from Racine. For more information and to find out about their events, go to circusports.com. All Circus Sports bets must be placed in Illinois. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text GAMB to 833-234.
Shop Fleet Farm for hot Fleet Fest deals this Friday through Sunday, in-store only. Like an extra 15% off all kitchen appliances and cookware. And hunters save an extra 10% on all tree stands, trail cams, blinds, and hunting apparel. Plus, you can still save $10 instantly on any purchase of $75 or more with our seasonal savings coupon. Shop in-store for these Fleet Fest deals and more this weekend only at Fleet Farm. Home of everything you need for a very merry shopping season.
Hey, it's Gary Olson here for Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape? Or maybe you want to impress a client? No matter the season, rain, snow, or shine, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is open for you. A top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play legendary courses. Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center simulators, entertainment, and best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer all year round. Just $35 an hour gets you a round and puts that summer feel back in your life. Book your bay at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust. For most men, there's nothing we want more than to stay young, fit, and active, which is why our New Year's resolutions usually include some form of getting in shape. The experts at Forward Healthy Lifestyles in Germantown are here to help you reach those goals. Testosterone optimization helps with muscle mass and tone, as well as weight management and having the energy and endurance to get in the gym. Forward Healthy Lifestyles also offers weight loss programs like semaglutide to help combat those endless holiday temptations. Visit forwardhealthylifestyles.com for a free consultation.
Hi everyone, John Miller here from PDS, a Converge company. PDS has been providing technology solutions and transforming IT for area companies for over 30 years. Today, we are helping organizations integrate digital workplace strategies that are giving today's worker the true ability to work from anywhere as they balance work and life both securely and productively. And as HP's largest partner in the area, our combined solutions have never been more important. If you're struggling with this, know we stand ready to help. From ideation to transformation, we can help you evolve your work from anywhere strategy. Learn more at pdsit.net.
Here in Wisconsin, a good old-fashioned is an important way of life. And that's where my friends at Perky's Old Fashioned come in. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Game Night, so here to tell you about the easiest way to put together an Old Fashioned. Perky's offers both brandy and bourbon Old Fashioned mixes. And get this, the booze is already in there. Just add the soda of your choosing, and you'll have Grandma Perky's Old Fashioned in the palm of your hand. Perky's is locally made and great for get-togethers of all kinds. Get perked up and head to perkysspirits.com for your nearest Perky's location.
Pew Club of Wisconsin is your hangout spot for watching sports, playing games, and having some drinks. Mike, what do you have going on over there?
Gary, we have so much going on. We're still the place to be on game day, so catch the green and gold. Book a holiday party in our VIP room, which includes a private pool table, 2 shuffleboard tables, and 4 dartboards. Plus, we got great live music every Saturday night. And of course, we've got our fish fry on Wednesdays and Fridays, where you know we pile it high.
All happening at the Q Club of Wisconsin, North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Check out qclubofwisconsin.com.
Do you check your savings account and wonder if you're even saving at all? At Town Bank, we view banking differently and actually want to see your savings grow. With our amazing new CD rates, you can now earn even more, so you can sit back and relax. Stop banking the same way, expecting different results, and start earning more. Go to townbank.us/locknewrates or visit a Town Bank branch nearest you today. Bank differently with Town Bank. Member FDIC.
This is Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
The hold, the kick, the win for the Giants.
Unfortunately, that's how it ended for the Packers. I thought there was a chance he missed it, just because they said the winds were blowing. We had a couple of missed field goals, one on each side throughout the course of the game. Extra points seemed like they were a little entertaining. Unfortunately, that kick was right down the middle. Just no doubt. No chance of it missing for Randy Bullock for the New York Giants. As they beat the Packers 24-22, I'm Gabe, along with Homer. We're taking your calls at 800-990-3776. Mike in Sheboygan, you're up next. Mike, you're on Green Bay Game Night with Homer and Gabe.
Hi, I'll try to be coherent after midnight here, but I'm old enough to remember Ron Wolf had a handful of street free agents on every Monday morning ready to go when he first took over. We're not that bad. Yes, we need difference makers, but number one, players, when you have a team and a player is making $40 or $50 million, there's less money to go around. We're just having to deal with that, wait for some money to free up, and we'll get some difference makers. Two, we've seen enough of Jordan Love to say, hey, he's got a bright future. Let's not do to him what New England did with their young quarterback. Jordan Love is got to play through his mistakes, but to play through them, you got to make them. And finally, a team has to learn how to compete. Then you create an identity to win. You guys are talking about play calling and things like that earlier in the program. You have to have an identity, and then you have to learn how to win. Detroit learned how to compete with their new coach. They're learning to create an identity, and now they got to learn how to win. They've lost some games. They probably, they shouldn't lose on paper, but they've lost them because they just don't know how to win yet. But they're learning how to compete. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
What is the definition of "will be fine"? Just out of my curiosity.
I don't say that we have to make the playoffs. I hate to say we got to have a playoff team this year. Otherwise, the team wasn't successful. We know it's a team in transition. We're young, and young players. Again, we won a game last week that most people said we had no business being in, and we lose a game this week that everybody thinks we should have won. That to me is just telling me that you have a young team that just hasn't learned how to compete. That every week in the NFL for 17 weeks, you have to show up or you're going to lose. The difference between winning and losing is really small.
Yeah, but at the same time, look, I understand where you're coming from here, Mike. But after beating the Lions and Chiefs in back-to-back weeks, at the very least, not making the playoffs would be disappointing. Yeah. To put yourself in that driver's seat, taking a look because then something went horribly wrong. And a lot of the things that you thought you turned the corner on by beating the Chargers, Lions, and Chiefs in succession ended up rearing their ugly head down the stretch.
5-2 after you started 1-4.
Mm-hmm.
100%. But again, progress isn't linear going up, all the time. It's ups and downs, and you lose players, and teams are scrambling. And again, you have a young quarterback who's, it's his first rodeo, first time out this time, and he'll be fine. We just can't do to him what they did in New England to their guy.
Well, I'm not worried about that because they.
And I think both of us believe that because if you say today the Packers are going to make the playoffs, then you have all the things that the caller was just talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have zero fear that what happened to Mac Jones is going to happen to Jordan Love. Zero fear. I don't think that's what's going to happen.
Well, and he's better, I think.
Yeah, Sure. I mean, but again, like Mac Jones had a really good rookie year and all those things, but then they also just didn't give him an offensive coordinator and stopped developing him.
Correct.
You know, like, oh, yeah, we don't need an offensive coordinator. What do you need that for? It turns out it's important when you're trying to develop a quarterback. And they also don't have any weapons really out there in New England either. Quickly, before we get to Jason Wilde, let's go out to Patrick in Australia. I always enjoy Patrick calling in here at a Green Bay game night. What's going on, Patrick?
Hey, guys. Yeah, not too much. How you going?
You know, I mean, it's not good, man. It's not good.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those missed opportunity kind of games where, you know, it would have been, especially with the results this weekend, it would have been one to sort of get a game ahead of a couple of those other teams, talking about the playoff race and that kind of thing. And, you know, a lot of the events in the game were kind of, they were kind of a missed opportunity. I don't know why Jordan Love was kind of off with his accuracy. I guess I'm less mad about it than earlier in the year when he was, because we've seen that he can do it. But, like, you know, that one where he rolled out right, I think it was Toure in the end zone. And there was that one that Troy Aikman talked about. I can't remember if they got a touchdown the drive or not at the end, but Aikman talked about how he hitch-stepped at the end of that drop back and then sort of just underthrew it. I can't remember if that was to Toure or to Reed or whatever it was.
In the end, he got it done. In the end, he got it done.
That was that drive. I wasn't aware
about.
Exactly. Yeah. And I thought, like you were saying, Homer, like how he came back, and you know, it was more like 08, where you get, you know, the offense march down the field, score the touchdown, and then the defense kind of couldn't hold it. Nixon.
Oh, by the way, I want to add one other thing before you finish. I'm expecting a call from Aaron Rodgers, or the mention, maybe it'll be of him calling Jordan Love and saying, "Now you know what I felt like my rookie year as starter." How many games did he bring back?
There's a lot.
Was it 4? Something like that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. No, that's all right. What was I saying? I don't know, homie. You distract me. Come on.
I want him to play
you wanted to say,
6 days.
Patrick, you wanted to say something about Keyshawn Nixon.
Oh, yeah. He was, I like him. I really like him. He's got a lot of attitude and stuff like that. He was really not good today, unfortunately. He won the game last week. He wasn't good today. I mean, it happens. But yeah, I'm not too discouraged. It would have been great to get the win. And just a side note for you guys, it's almost 5 years to the day where I actually went to Lambeau Field for a game. It was actually on my honeymoon. And the only game I've ever been to at Lambeau Field, it was that December night against the... Actually, no, it was an afternoon. It was the Cardinals. Mike McCarthy got fired.
No, Patrick, no. That was the one game you got to go to Lambeau where they just so underperformed that they fired Mike McCarthy at 6 o'clock?
Yeah. It was... Yeah, it's kind of funny that is the only game I've been to, but later in the year, I actually did go to... we were in New York, and I went to... MetLife, and they had that overtime win against the Jets, so it kind of balanced out. But yeah, the Lambeau one was pretty disappointing. So I've seen worse, you know.
Yeah, that's very fair. Very fair, Patrick. We appreciate the call. We appreciate you calling in, Patrick from Australia. Always checks in here on Green Bay Game Night. It's fantastic. Jason Wilde going to give his thoughts. We're going to get some first reactions from Jason Wilde as he joins us next. Packers fall to the Giants 24-22 on Green Bay Game Night.
Stay right here. Green Bay Game Night will be right back on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
In the heart of downtown Milwaukee, there's an all-new Potawatomi Casino Hotel, where there's a table waiting for you at 12 bars and restaurants, a winning seat at 40 table games or 3,000 slot machines, plus the thrill of bingo, full-service sports betting, and more. Are you ready to spark something new? Light up your senses at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Explore more at paysbig.com.
All you have is one chance after an accident, one decision on who to call, one shot to get the help you need. Don't waste it on the one offer you get from your insurance company. Make the one call to Gruber Law Offices. It's the only one you'll need to make. Call us today. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Tired of power outages disrupting your life? Make them a thing of the past by getting a Generac home standby generator from Adams Generators. Adams Generators is the largest and #1 rated Generac dealer in Wisconsin. With 24/7 emergency support, our factory-trained technicians are standing by to assist you. Visit adamspower.com/generators to make sure your power always stays on. That's adamspower.com/generators.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Associated Bank. Looking for a bank with home field advantage? You got it. At Associated Bank, we're more than just a bank. We're your neighbors. That's why scoring a Packers checking account is the right play for your pay. And here's the kicker. Your Packers debit card gets you 10% off at the Packers Pro Shop. Join the team today. Open your Packers checking account at associatedbank.com/Packers. Associated Bank, the bank of the Packers since 1919. Your money works here. Member FDIC.
Cousin Subs just got better. With our newest mobile app update, we've made it easier to purchase your favorite subs and sides with Apple or Google Pay, and the ability to make split payments. And that's not all. Can we get your digits? Sign up today for our new text messaging program to unlock exclusive coupons and offers at cousinsubs.com or via our app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's. Flavor is our family's business.
Life's better with an auto policy from American Family Insurance. No matter what dreams you're driving towards. That's because our expert agents will make you feel totally protected with the right auto coverage at the right price. You'll also save up to 23% when you bundle auto with home. American Family Insurance. Get a quote, find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Welcome back to Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Love is picked. Pinnock on the interception. Able to stay in bounds and then survive those two hits and hang on to the ball. As that ball floated from Jordan Love in a return of 21 yards on the second interception of the season for Jason Pinnock.
One of two turnovers tonight for Jordan Love. Packers fall 24-22 to the Giants on the road. He is our friend. He is our teammate. He is Jason Wilde. Joining us now on Green Bay Game Night. Good morning, Jason.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Not good.
Terrible.
Terrible?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why?
With the game on the line, Tommy DeVito completed 4 straight passes.
He did.
4 for 4. He's never done that in his life. The game on the line.
You don't know that for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with that in the pros. Pretty comfortable. And so it's not that they lost. It's the manner in which – that's not possible. It's not possible. You can't make somebody like that good. To that point in the game, he had 106 yards passing in, 59 minutes? And in the final minutes, he puts up 53.
Yeah, I think he had 101. I think he had 57 on the final possession, if I remember right. But maybe not. Bottom line is, He got most of his yards on that final possession. You're 1,000% right.
And perfection. No, it's not like he had to work at it. He never got to third down, and he was there.
Yeah, no, I heard you say that earlier. Yeah, no, that was. I mean, look, their defense didn't come through on the final drive. There's no denying that. They ceded 200 rushing yards again for the fourth time this season, which is the most in the NFL to give up 4 games of 200 or more rushing yards. They let Danny DeVito run around without. I mean, he gained 71 rushing yards.
Mm-hmm.
I sent Tausch that stat. I heard him use it. 69 sacks surrendered in the first 12 games. And they didn't. I heard, Gabe, you said it. Not only did they not get a sack, they had 2 quarterback hits.
That's it.
So
and Jason, that could even be wrong because, like, looking at the box score, unless they give out team quarterback hits, okay, they updated it. Rashawn Gary had 2 because for a long time they just had Rashawn Gary with 1.
Yeah, but I definitely have zero interest in relitigating the Joe Barry conundrum that you guys were dealing with during a good portion of my drive. But it wasn't just the defense. I mean, Jordan Love. I broke down the statistics here, starting with 1:28 left in the third quarter when they take over. The final 3 drives, he drives them for a missed field goal, a made field goal, and then the go-ahead touchdown. Over those 3 drives, he was 10 of 15 for 106 yards and a touchdown. That's a 109.3 rating. On his other drives of the night, 15 of 24, 112 yards, no touchdowns, interception, fumble, 56.3 rating. So for as much as you're saying that about Danny DeVito, Jordan Love wasn't very good for most of the night either. And so he didn't play well enough. The special teams, look, I am a Rich Bisaccia guy. I enjoy him thoroughly. I like old coaches because they're kind of like the GOAT there with you there, Gabe. They're curmudgeonly at times, but they got a hell of a lot of wisdom. But his group's not good enough. Like, him and Goody committed to Anders Carlson to be their kicker, and he is going through what you expect from a young kicker. Now, the Dallas guy's not having any trouble. He's segued from being a first-round pick for the MLS to not missing kicks and hitting a 59-yarder and a 60-yarder in the same game. But Anders Carlson's going through what most young kickers do, some inconsistency. You got Keyshawn Nixon not only muffing a punt, but then instead of just falling on it and living to fight another day, he tries to scoop it up, and then he ends up losing it. So you turn it over. They lead the NFL in special teams penalties. Like, is this where, like, good special teams coaches go to die? Because...
But they had a good special teams year last year, Jason. I don't understand what happened.
They did. Improved. They had an improved special teams year last year.
Fair. Very fair.
They weren't at the bottom, but they were I think they were 20th or whatever. So my point is that
after the year previous, it felt like first.
Sure. Right after the many years previous. Yeah. There were plenty of years where they were at the bottom. But my point is that this was a team loss in every sense of the word. Matt LaFleur, look, I'm not play calling second guess guy, but you run enough end arounds, jet sweeps, sooner or later they're going to figure it out. And I hated the 2-point conversion call. Hated it. Hated it as it was unfolding, even before the result. So look, I said that they were going to have a clunker. They may have another one still. Did I think it was going to happen tonight? I thought that they might struggle, but I thought they would still find a way to win. And frankly, Love got them in position to win. God, it felt like 2008 where Aaron Rodgers gets them the lead and then the defense gives it back. But it was just like, this is what happens. This is what they are. And they weren't as crappy as they appeared to be when they were losing 4 straight. And they're not as good as they were when they were winning 3 straight. This is what they are. And this is what happens to teams that are like that. Do I think that did I ever think they were going to run the table? No. Did my brilliant but sometimes emotional sidekick get a little out in front of his skis again? Yeah. Did he sound pretty frustrated tonight listening to him on Green Bay game night here? He did. But they could very much turn around and on Sunday beat the daylights out of the Buccaneers. There are 6 NFC teams, 6, who are 6-7. They are all mediocre. It's all varying degrees of mediocre, and it's all who's going to win which games to get them into the playoffs. And the Packers still have as good a chance as anyone, and the NFL, while you guys have been talking, updated their current standings, and despite the loss and tiebreakers and all that other garbage, if the season ended today, they'd still be the 7th seed at 6-7. So all is not lost. It certainly was not a good night for anyone, whether it was the coach, the quarterback, the defense, the special teams, anyone. But I don't think that there's reason to be so disappointed and downtrodden. You know, you get Christian Watson back in the lineup on Sunday or a week from Sunday. You get Aaron Jones back contributing to some degree.
Yeah, but how about Wicks?
I'll tell you what, he you know, you guys know that I love him. I just think he's and I heard Aikman and Buck talking about their conversation with LaFleur in the production meeting, and LaFleur saying, look, I do not want this to be the last thing we talk about, and I'm not comparing him to Davante Adams, but his feet are Adams-like. And I know it sounds crazy, and he's got a hell of a long way to go before he's anything close to what Davante has become.
Yeah,
but that's the comp I've been making from the very beginning, and the throw that I thought showed what we've been talking about. And again, it's the Homer rule. What do young guys do when they play well? It's not, don't judge them on that. Don't judge them on when they screw up, because this is what tells us what they're capable of. The throw where Love was not accurate tonight, and no one asked him. I'm not there. I don't blame those guys. It was kind of catch as catch can in post game. I would have loved to have known whether the wind was any sort of factor, and if Jordan was inaccurate or he was inaccurate, plus the wind made him look even more inaccurate, because he missed some throws in the first 3 quarters. But the one where he misses Wicks, and Wicks goes up and torques his body to come down with it when it's supposed to be leading him toward the sideline, and it's thrown way behind him, and he's got to turn his whole body. Oh, that was Davante-like. So if this high ankle sprain is as bad as it sounds like Dontavion fears it is, that's a problem, because he and Reed, and then Reed left with a concussion, or at least was in the protocol, right? So those are the kinds of things that you obviously can't control, and I would be more worried about the fact that they've got Reed in the concussion protocol, they've got Wicks with a potential high ankle sprain, and they've got the leg lamp with the hamstring, Fragile, not potentially available. That would concern me much more than the fact that they lost tonight.
Well, I guess that's what I am concerned about going forward, Jason, because as good as the Malik Heath story is of him catching that touchdown, and that's fantastic, I guess I'm not expecting Watson to be back next week, and if Dontavian Wicks is out, I wonder if they can score enough points, given the way the defense can kind of be Jekyll and Hyde-ish.
Yeah, the guy that I'm trying to figure out, because you guys know, I was also high on him from the absolute very start, and he just disappears for long stretches, is Dobbs. I don't have him figured out. I don't know what's going on there, because I think he's a good player, and there are times where he looks like a stud possession receiver, right? I love the way he catches the ball and snatches it. Generally speaking, like he obviously bobbled that one on the sideline, but I don't know if he's. I got to go look at the. I don't do a whole lot of all 22 stuff, but I have to go look and see how often is he getting open versus how often is he just not open, so the ball's not coming toward him, and how much of that is on him, because that's something that, they need more from him even if those guys are healthy, and they especially need more from him when they're not.
All three of you alluded to no sacks. So who?
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, that's inexcusable.
Who was terrible or worse than terrible, or just
well, I mean, look. Yeah, a couple
things.
I mean, no, I don't expect anybody to have 3 in a game. I mean, I know he's done that. He's done that twice now this year, right? So he's got 9 sacks, and 6 of them have been in 2 games. Do I have that right, Gabe? I think I do.
You are correct.
Yeah, you can't, if you're an elite pass rusher, and again, this is not, I don't think this is unfair criticism of Rashawn. I would hope that he would have the same expectation. You have to affect the game more than he did. Thibodeau clearly affected the game, right? And I don't care if DeVito's an effective runner. He hadn't been an effective runner before tonight, right? I don't think he had that many rushing yards. So 10 for 71 is crazy.
Yeah, so he now has 31 for 154. So he had 20 for less than 100, 20 for 80 going into the game.
So he's had some productivity, but certainly not what he had tonight. But, they just could not, LaFleur said it, they had these flybys where they were just basically too wide and pushed upfield, and then DeVito ran up the middle. But you can't, they gave up, that's not, 69 sacks is astronomical.
It's a lot.
And to have none what exactly? This is something, LaFleur talks at 1:00 later today in 11 hours and 45 minutes. That needs to be asked. Okay, how does a team that gave up 69 sacks and is without their left tackle, how do you guys not get any meaningful pressure? Look, the defense between no pressure, 200 yards, and not coming through at the end of the game, that is a bad performance. I don't care that they had the 4th down stop. I don't care about all the other stuff they did. Those are 3 really bad blemishes on tonight's record for them. But again, it's not the only reason they lost. And this is they are in. By the way, let's not lose sight of the fact that I learned something tonight, because I thought the ground couldn't cause a fumble regardless, but apparently you have to be forced to the ground and have it cause a fumble, because what a gift that fumble was from Saquon Barkley. They basically have won the game there. There's 3.5 minutes left, so it's not totally over. And then, Carrington Valentine return. What a weird turn of events. He returns at 50 yards, and then the Packers go and score they get the field goal, or did they get the go-ahead touchdown off that fumble? They did, right?
They did.
That's where they get the goal. So, they had, if we're being honest, they didn't deserve to have the game. They didn't deserve to take the lead at 22-21, frankly.
Correct.
But they did, and then they managed to botch it still. So I don't know, maybe ball don't lie, and they got what they deserved.
Yeah, they did, because they should have lost the game on when the long drive before the fumble, and you assume they were going to kick a field goal, and then the game would have been over, right?
Oh, yeah. No, 100% there with you. Jason, we always appreciate the time. Go get some sleep. We'll talk to you again in the morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I look forward to it, fellas. Take care. Be good.
Yeah, about 6 hours from now. Yeah, 6 hours from now.
How many hours before you're working?
Well, I'll probably be here about 5 hours from now.
All right.
Yeah, and we'll talk to Jason about 6 hours on Jen, Game, and Chewy. Get some sleep, repackage the thoughts and try to figure it all out. We do have to give out one more award. We will do that before we get out of here on Green Bay Game Night.
More Green Bay Game Night coming up on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
Ho, ho, ho! need new windows.
Baby, it's cold outside.
So where do I go? Ho, ho.
Come on, Santa. Go to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Now is the time to replace your leaky windows and doors. You and Mrs. Claus can get your new windows while putting no money down, no payments, and no interest for up to 18 months. Unwrap this gift now, but pay for it later.
More jingle that stays in my pocket.
That's right, Santa. Plus, our elves install year-round and in as little as 1 day. Pella offers lines in luxurious wood to fiberglass and vinyl.
Why not make a New Year's resolution today?
That's the spirit, Santa.
Hella no, pay later.
Absolutely. Put no money down, no payments, and no interest for up to 18 months. But you have to hurry. Offer ends December 31st. Schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offer ends 12/31/2023.
Hey, it's Gary Olson here for Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center. Looking for that midday escape? Or maybe you want to impress a client? No matter the season, rain, snow, or shine, Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is open for you. A top-tech, cutting-edge golf experience that gives you the chance to play legendary courses. Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center simulators, entertainment, and best Bloody Marys make it feel like summer all year round. Just $35 an hour gets you a round and puts that summer feel back in your life. Book your bay at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Prize Picks, the most fun I've had, winning up to 25x on my money during the football season, and now I get to play during the basketball season as well. You get to select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and you just place an entry. Pretty simple. And now you get to pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. So for me, I'm going to go Jordan Love, and then I'll go Giannis and Dallas Dame. If I want to go 3-pointers made, rushing touchdowns, can do it. Prize Picks is that simple to play. Testing my skills on Prize Picks this season is the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. If you have the skills, you can turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app.
Go to prizepicks.com/WI and use code WI for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/WI, code WI.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're in the market for a full-size 8-passenger SUV, look no further than the Defender 130. And with the Defender 90, the 110, and this 130, there's luxury in the right size for everyone. And now is the best time to take advantage of a great offer like this.
For a limited time, get 3.9% special APR rate for up to 60 months on new 2023 Defenders at Land Rover Waukesha. Go to LandRoverWaukesha.com.
Tito's handmade vodka is so good and smooth, you can mix it with anything. Now, hear us out. If your usual brunch cocktail sounds like a Tito's Bloody Mary stacked with garnishes is more like Tito's. Sounds pretty good. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Hi everyone, John Miller here from PDS, a Converge company. PDS has been providing technology solutions and transforming IT for area companies for over 30 years. Today, we are helping organizations integrate digital workplace strategies that are giving today's worker the true ability to work from anywhere as they balance work and life both securely and productively. And as HP's largest partner in the area, our combined solutions have never been more important. If you're struggling with this, know we stand ready to help. From ideation to transformation, we can help you evolve your work from anywhere strategy. Learn more at pdsit.net.
You're listening to Green Bay Game Night on ESPN Wisconsin and WTMJ.
I don't know if this touched the Giants. I believe it did, and the Packers are on top of it. It's Green Bay's ball. Bobby McCain, 21, I believe was hit by that punt. And the Packers recover, and now the two teams on special teams trade mistakes.
For over 4 decades, one name has stood out as a symbol of excellence in automotive sales and service. It's the Boucher Automotive Group, dedicated to providing exceptional experience to all their valued customers. Boucher Automotive Group, riding with you every mile since 1977. Gabe, will also be forgotten is all the screw-ups the Giants had that the Packers could have taken advantage of, but forgotten.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Packers had plenty. And the other thing that gets forgotten, so it's time for the Purveyor Orthopedics specialist of the game. And in the notes, it say, host share what special moment made an impact on the game. The special moment, it's not specialist. It's a special moment. Malik Heath's touchdown is a special moment that also is going to be forgotten because it was such a great throw and it was a great catch. And just the suspense of waiting for that official to stand up to signal touchdown because he took out the ref at the same time. And, you get it. So then you can celebrate as a fan and it just all gets forgotten. But what doesn't...
play after he dropped one
right after it was knocked out of his hands. Yeah, it was a good play by the defensive back. He didn't tuck it away. Defensive back knocked it out and went right back to him. And he made the play. Specialist of the game on Green Bay Game Night brought to you by Purveyor Orthopedics. Sports medicine knows power starts with the hips. With Dr. Michael Ryan and a team of experts in Green Bay, you get comprehensive and advanced hip care unlike anywhere else. Purveyor Orthopedics, preserving your hips so you can pursue your goals. The one thing I want to say going forward, I feel like, clearly it's not a must-win game because you have 3 games after it. But I really feel like this is going to be, the next game against the Buccaneers is going to be indicative. Maybe I wake up and I feel different about it. And maybe this is a prisoner of the moment thing, Homer. But I feel if the Packers lose to the Buccaneers, they are not making the playoffs. But if they win, they're in.
I would agree, but I've come to the conclusion this may be the season where whatever you think is going to happen doesn't happen. Week after week after week. So it seems to me that in order to make the playoffs, we have to get to the point where we don't think they're going to make the playoffs again. There's just everything that seemed important has gone exactly the other way. And so, I think, and we haven't even looked at all the different numbers you have when you have so many teams with the same record and what it could all come down to. But, you lose to Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
You're forced to win your final 3 games.
Yes.
And how can you be confident they would win their last 3 games after 2 such games? And Tampa's obviously better than the Giants, but you're playing at home, and you think, how does Tampa play in December?
And I'm actually more nervous after the conversation. Well, and maybe Tampa doesn't play in December, but maybe it's also like continues to be unseasonably warm, right now in Wisconsin.
Correct.
And Green Bay. At least in Milwaukee, the high for Sunday is 41. It's not like it's going to be frozen tundra Lambeau Field at noon on Sunday.
Correct.
But I am more worried about that game after talking with Jason. We got to find out about Reed. We got to find out about Wicks. Very curious about, Aaron Jones and Christian Watson. I guess my assumption would be that Jones is closer, and when you have a hamstring and you miss a game for the Green Bay Packers, I assume you're missing more than 1 game. Maybe that's unfair. Maybe he's able to come back, but if he does, is he going to be able to be the guy that he was the last 2 weeks, or is he going to be the guy that got caught from behind in the game against the Raiders? I've just got, and if you don't have your full complement of weapons, are you going to be able to keep up with a Tampa Bay offense that has some playmakers?
Yeah, as I said, the Packers didn't like being a favorite.
No, they're going to be favored again.
Yes, they are. That's correct. And every standard that has been set by any of us all season long has been wrong. and then it gets better, and then when you start thinking they're good, then they're bad again. So I don't think it's impossible, but I'm like you. And this is the standard I thought was appropriate after they beat Detroit, Kansas City. Now we're wondering what Detroit is.
Yep.
How good a team are they? Are they now? Not forget their whole season, but how good a team are they now? But I just thought the Packers played well enough for a number of games to make you think they're just better. So now they're a better team. So that team it should be good enough to beat Tampa after you have a bad loss. Otherwise, we're back to October.
Yeah, they should be, Homer, and I think they are. But can they afford to have the injuries they currently have?
Correct.
And that's where it becomes tricky for the Packers going forward. We'll find out more about the Packers' injury situation hopefully tomorrow, but more than likely as the week goes along. Tomorrow you've got John Anderson on the Homer Hour.
By the way, I didn't bring it up. I will at the end, like he's the jinx.
What do you mean?
He went last year to the Giants game in London, and I said, well, you can't go. You go, they're going to lose again. And he said, well, check the stats. You won't see my name come up on anything. But now he's attended the Giants-Packers 2 years in a row, and they've lost both games. I think he's got to take one for the team and not.
Next time he can't go.
Not ever go to a Giants-Packers. I don't know. But I told him, if they lose, it's on you. And he's like, find the stat that in which I was the difference. But he's been a jinx. But yeah, I know he was there. So
well, we'll have to wait and see if he takes responsibility tomorrow.
He will take no responsibility. I'm guaranteeing you that. He might even interrupt me when I start. I'm taking no responsibility. But no, I think if you're positive about the Packers, and both of us are, you're disappointed, but you haven't lost belief. And as I said, I think any game in which Jordan Love does that at the end of the game is huge.
Yeah.
But they lose to Tampa, then you and I are going to be two different guys.
Oh, yeah. They lose to Tampa, it's all bets are off.
Yes.
All bets are off. It's going to be straight up panic on Green Bay game night. Hopefully it's more celebration as they get back to 500. We'll find out next week. Green Bay game night.
Cousin Subs just got better with our